The guy goes, what the fuck is that? And I'm going, yo, don't worry, I'll clean it up. The guy said, no, I'm calling the police. I said, don't do that, let me clean it up.
You're out there with a fucking dustpan.
I'm trying to clean it up. Shut up, leave it alone. The guy wouldn't let me.
This is without a doubt the most absurd podcast we have recorded in this studio, and I don't think it's close. I'm not even going to give it a real intro because I won't do it justice. I am joined in the bunker today by a living legend, Mr. Louisa, who will keep your jaw on the floor, have you laughing the whole time, and has a story that if I sold it to a Hollywood studio, they'd throw me out and tell me there's no way that happened. But it did. If you're on YouTube right now, please make sure you subscribe and like the video. Thank you for checking out the channel. If you're on Apple and Spotify and haven't already subscribed on Apple or followed on Spotify, make sure you do that. Hope to see you guys again for future episodes, and I want you to enjoy the fuck out of this conversation because it was absolutely incredible. That said, you know what it is. I'm Julian Dorey, and this is TRENDIFIER. Let's go! This is one of the great questions in our culture. Where is the nuance? You're giving opinions and calling them facts. You feel me? Everyone understands this, but few seem to do it. If you don't like the status quo, start asking questions. I've been looking forward to this one because I was thinking, and I think I told you this right when you walked in here, but I was thinking about this the last few days, and I'm like, I've known Lou now for 6-7 years. I don't think I've gotten so many stories from you. We used to talk all the time. I remember my first time where you were in Whippany when I was in there in the morning, and I'm like hitting the bag, and I hear someone start screaming, keep your hand up, keep your hand up. I'm like, what? And then suddenly, like, you're over there with like a timer on me, and I'm like, oh, all right, this guy's into it. I'm looking up, it's like there's this woolly mammoth standing right there teaching me how to box. And then I started getting some of your story like in pieces, but I've never like sat down with you and gotten the full kind of from start to end how this went. And I say that because for people listening who don't know who you are, I mean, you're a boxing legend. You've been around this sport for what, 45 years, something like that?
Yeah, maybe more.
And you were one of the top ranked heavyweights in the world. You are a member of the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. If I'm missing some other things, let me know.
Florida State, Florida Hall of Fame.
Florida as well. And you trained down at Fifth Street Gym under Angelo Dundee.
And Angelo Dundee was part of the Mendoza group, but my trainer was, my everyday trainer and my main trainer was Dwayne Simpson. Dwayne Simpson was an unbelievable teacher, not so much as you call trainer. He's not too many trainers can teach you. Dwayne Simpson could teach you.
Now, for people that don't know, Fifth Street Gym is where Ali was.
Yes,
all the big boys.
Well, that's where he started. He started at the Fifth Street Gym. Well, I don't know if that's where he started, but that's where he landed when he was in Miami. I think he started in Memphis or Louisville, Kentucky, as an amateur, and then he moved to Miami, and that's where he went he was trained at the Fifth Street Gym. So
he had a trainer before Dundee?
When he was young, sure. I think there was, when he was in the amateurs.
I didn't know that. But how did you get into it? Because, and this story I know, but I want you to tell it. Like how you kind of showed up at the gym and because Ali was there or something, and suddenly became a boxer.
I was playing football and got hurt. And I was home convalescing. I had my leg up, I'm watching TV, and the news came on, and it said, Ali's at the Fifth Street Gym training. So I said, oh my God, I'm getting ready. I want to go down and see Ali. That's my hero, I want to see him. So I put together a package, so I could train rather than be standing there in the crowd. I could train and be in there right next to him. So I went down there and I put my gloves and everything in there, and I went down to the gym. I had to lose weight anyway. I was like 320 something.
Holy shit!
And running a 4.840 defensive end. I had to.
You ran a 4.840 at 320
until I got hit. Until I got hit in the knee. Yeah, and then I knew how to lose weight through boxing because I boxed in the amateurs. So I said I could lose the weight in the gym.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I won the Golden Gloves in New England.
When you were growing up?
In Boston, yeah. I went from Jersey. There was they told me no competition here. So I went to Boston and fought in the Fargo building in South Boston. The last year they had the Golden Gloves there. Then they moved them to the Boston Garden. But they were in the Fargo building in South Boston. I used to train at Connolly's gym in South Boston.
Yeah.
And I went to the Fargo building, and I fought 2 guys in one night, knocked them both out, and I won the Golden Gloves in New England. And I drove home that night, and actually, first time I ever saw a piggyback trailer. You ever see those trailer that carries 2? They have 2 boxes behind the truck. Well, these are
maybe
the first time they ever came out with them. They're 2 boxes. They're real long. They call them piggyback trailers. Riding down the New England Thruway, and I'm driving. I got a convertible GTO. And
how old are you?
17. Coming home with my robe and my trophy and everything, Won an outstanding fight of the night. Had 2 big trophies and everything. And I'm driving home, and I'm all excited. I'm going home. And this guy didn't see me. Just pulled right in my lane. Hit me, and I was knocking off him like a pinball onto the guardrail, which was just a metal rope. And I kept hitting, and finally my car went up in the air like this, and I looked down. I'm like 100-foot drop. I go, oh, my God, please no. And I'm jumping in the car. It hit the ground, and the car bounced off the truck, and then he pulled away, kept going. He didn't know.
He kept going?
He didn't even know he hit me. He didn't even know.
How do you not know you hit somebody?
Well, because I told you, the piggyback trailer, it's real long. He has a trailer, then another one hooked to it. The back one was the one that was hitting me.
You're not going to know that something hit that?
I don't know. He said he didn't know because thank God there was a state trooper behind me.
Yeah.
There was a state trooper there. So the trooper called ahead.
Sounds like he remembered.
Stopped the truck.
Yeah.
And the trooper came up and he goes, how are you going to get out of that car? Because I had door locks and they were locked. I couldn't get out because it was all dented.
So you were fine?
Oh, yeah, it was okay. But I said, I'll get out. And I just punched through the roof. And the cop said, what the hell? I go, I got to get out. So I got out.
Wait, it was a soft top roof?
Yeah, it was a convertible.
Okay, all right, still.
It was a convertible. I punched through the roof and I got out. And the cop goes, wow. And then I said, well, I got to get my trophy and my robe and everything. I got my stuff. And I grabbed, and then my girl from New Jersey drove up to where I was at the New York Thruway. And she picked me up and I went back to my car, which they towed into by where we were. And, I got all my clothes and everything out of it, and then we went home.
That's
wild.
Yeah. 17.
17 years old, driving up to. I lived in Brookline, Massachusetts, 97 Aspinwall Avenue.
Oh, so you moved up there too?
To train with a guy named Al Lacey. Al Lacey trained a conglomerate from the garment district. I used to work in the garment district when I was younger, 17.
In New York City.
Yeah. When I was working there, and my
what were you doing in the garment district?
I worked out in the warehouse. Then I worked on a truck. Then I worked in the office as a salesman for, women's car coats. You have to wear a suit, and people come from Bloomingdale's, from all those Neiman Marcus and all that, and you sell them the clothes. But they were selling clothes on consignment. Back in those days, I don't know if they do it these days, but back in those days, you could sell 100,000 coats on consignment. Whatever they don't sell, they give you back. So if they take the clothes and they have it for 6 months and they don't sell a bunch of them, they send them back. I said, no, that's not the way to do this. Well, to make a long story short, I left before they went under.
Wait, you didn't reinvent how they did their business?
Yeah, no. So one of the guys who was in that business, the garment business, he was actually my first wife's father. He died before we got married, but he knew my father real well. And they said, why don't we put him because they gave him one of my amateur boxing shows in Patterson. And I knocked the guy out. He goes, let's take him up with a trainer, see if he's got something. We'll turn him pro. So they sent me up to Brookline, and that's when I trained with Al Lacey. Al Lacey trained Paul Pinder, who beat Sugar Ray Robinson, and he trained Jack Sharkey before he won that world championship. And Al Lacey was the manager of the Revere Dog Track. So he had 2 houses. He lived in one, and the other one was a boarding house, and that's where I lived. And I used to get up in the morning and run to the reservoir, not far from the house, and I would run around the reservoir. That would be my road work. And I'd
with
run
the
home.
Dogs?
I'd run home and jump in. He didn't have no hot water. I just took a cold shower, and then I would make my own breakfast and wait for Al, and we'd go to the gym. And that's what I did for a year until the Golden Gloves came around, and he enrolled me in the Golden Gloves, and we won.
Well, there's another thing, because I don't know if it works the same today. Well, I'm sure there's differences, but how do you get into that? Do you have to win a certain number of fights on the
No.
amateur circuit?
No, you can go. The Golden Gloves has all different levels. There's the sub-novice, which is guys from 0 to 2 fights.
Okay.
If you have 0 to 2 fights, you could be sub-novice. Then they have novice, which is 2 to 9, 2 to 10, 2 to 10, 2 to 10. Now, 2 to 10 is novice. Then you have 10 plus is open class. The 0 to 2 and then 2 to 10 is 2-minute rounds. The open class, which is 10 plus, is 3-minute rounds.
And this is for the amateur circuit.
Yes, three rounds, 2-minute rounds is novice and sub-novice. And open class is 3-minute rounds.
So you were, I did not know this. You were boxing for years growing up. And then somewhere along the way, you're like,
I quit, yeah.
I want to do football.
Yeah. Well, no, what happened was I was boxing and playing football. But I was doing both. But I wanted to box. But then I got a chance to play football in college, so I went.
Where'd you go to college?
St. Peter's in Jersey City. I drove a friend of mine. He was playing football there and going to school there. So I drove him to practice because something was wrong with his car. And I'm standing on the sidelines and the coach sees me. He goes, "Hey, Tommy, who's that?" "That's my friend Louie." He goes, "Does he play football?" He goes, "Yeah, he plays." He goes, "Ask him if he wants to play with us." So he asked me, he goes, "Go get him a uniform." And that was it. They got me into the school and I was ready to play. We played St. Peter's. We played Jersey City State College the following week. I played
The next week.
starting defensive end.
The next week.
The next week I was starting defensive end.
What were you, 18 at that time? Freshman?
17, 18, yeah, I was 18.
So you just walked on the campus, they signed you up, and you played.
And I played.
And what were you, 6'6" and 300?
I was 6'5", about 285 at the time.
Running a 4.7, I guess, because you added
4'8",
pounds to get a 4.8.
4'8", yeah. So I was doing pretty good. But and then Carlissimo, the coach, he called Snellenberger down in Miami and said, "Man, do I got a defensive end for you?"
The Dolphins.
No, he was at University of Miami at the time. He was coach.
Oh, because Dolphins was Shula then, right?
Shula.
What year are we talking here?
73 when I went down to Miami. Then I went 74 and 75. I went to the Dolphins. He gave me a walk-on. Shula. I met Shula at a birthday party. No, at a football game. My ex-wife's nephew played at a high school in Miami called Chaminade. And Shula's kids went there too. They played also. So I was at the game watching my wife's nephew, and Shula was there when I was about standing 2 feet, maybe 2 feet away from me. And we were talking about football. Him and I would start talking about football. And he goes, "You play?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Why don't you come down? I want to see what you could do."
That's you know how crazy that is for our generation to hear that, like, you're standing next to an NFL legend. He's like, "You'll do. Come to the field tomorrow."
Before he was a legend. I mean, before he, like, his first couple of months there.
Head coach of a team, though, you know?
Yeah, I went there, and he goes, "What could you run the 40?" And I said, "Probably 4.8, 4.7, 4.8. He goes, "Come on, how much do you weigh?" I said, "About 325. He goes, "Come on, run it." So he makes me run it. They run it again. He tells the guy, they're looking at the clock. "Can you run it one more time?" "Yeah." Run it again. He goes, "Okay, get him a uniform." I started playing. First game of preseason against the, I think it was the Baltimore Colts when they were in Baltimore. I got a helmet to the knee. Helmet to the knee. My career was over. They go, "You could play again, but if you do, and you get hit again, you'll have to walk with a crutch." I said, "That's out. I'm looking to have kids. I want to be able to teach my kids football. I want to play games with them.
What'd you tear?
I don't. Back then they just took everything out. ACL. They just take everything out.
Holy shit!
It was all clear it out. Instead of today, they just cut a little bit, or they fuse it with I don't know. They don't kill it. They don't kill everything. But back then, it just scrape everything out.
That surgery's come such a long. I mean, all of them have, but that one's come such a long way.
Yes, these guys are back on the field and right away.
And that's the one I'm looking forward to. And I don't know the science behind it, but I'm looking forward to 5-10 years from now, if it's at the place where it's like, oh, you get that injury, you're back on the field in 2 months or 3 months, because it's still, they'll play it conservative if it's like a quarterback or something, but these guys are still taking 9 months to get back to the field. But you tear your ACL now, it's like, all right, you got to do a lot of rehab. It's going to suck, but you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, today modern medicine is grown leaps and bounds. It's unbelievable what they could do today. I mean, I walked on that first operation. They scraped everything out, so I walked bone on bone for almost 30 years. I was at Whippany when you were there, when I went and got my knee operated on. Right before you came, I think I got my knee operated on. I had the total replacement.
Oh, that's good.
But it was so much better because I used to leave Whippany at night, drive home with tears in my eyes.
So you were a pro boxer, bone on bone.
Yeah. Yeah. My first fight, I was a pro when I got hurt.
All right, yeah, let's back, because we got on a tangent about boxing because I didn't know your background. But you were saying you had your foot up like on the bed, and then I guess you were walking around again, you saw Ali's in town.
Right.
So then you're like, I'm going to go down and I'm going to hit the bag while I'm there.
And that's what happened. I walked in, I paid my $2. I went in the back, place was filthy dirty. But went in the back, got dressed, came out, wrapped my hands, and started shadow boxing. Then I jumped rope for 3 rounds, and Ali was in the ring. There was like 200 people there listening to him. And Ali was in the ring moving around, and I'm watching him. And then I put my mitts on, and I was going to start hitting the bag. You know, the old bag gloves where you slide them on. They were like 4 ounces. But, you know, and I started hitting the bag. When the bell rang, I started hitting the bag. And I was hitting that thing with everything. And at the time, I was 3-something. So I'm hitting that bag, boom, boom, boom. And heads started to turn looking at me. and Ali don't like that a little bit. You know, he's very vain. You know, what the hell, who's that, your white hope? Who's that?
Why are you looking at him and not me?
Right, exactly. So I was hitting the bag, and all of a sudden I threw a left hook, and the damn chain broke. Here comes the heavy bag comes down, and it hits the floor.
How heavy was the bag?
200 pounds.
Oh, you're hitting a big boy, too.
Hits the floor. And I go, oh, damn, I'm going to get thrown out of here. I just started this. So now I know who Angelo Dundee is, but he doesn't know me. He goes walking over. I go, Angelo, don't worry about the bag. I'll go. I know there's a hardware store around here. I'll go get a chain. I'll pick it up. Don't worry about it. He goes, hell with that bag. Nice shot. You ever fight before? I go, when I was a kid, yeah, I was in the Golden Gloves and things like that, but I started playing football. I got hurt. Now I'm here to lose weight. I'm 300 pounds. I got to lose weight. He goes, you don't look no 3. I said, I'm 325, 322, something like that. So he goes, oh, my God, you don't look it. So I go, yeah, I am. So we started talking. He goes, you ever meet the champ? I go, no. He's my idol. So I went over there, and we're talking, and Ali, we hit, because he had gloves on. We go like that. We hit gloves. Then he goes, put your arms out like that, white boy. I put my arms out. He goes, put his hand way up in the air, and he goes.
In good consciousness, I can't even interrupt this episode for very long because Luis is a national treasure. I told you he was going to be. I hope you're enjoying so far. So just very, very quickly, link in my description, code TRENDIFIER checkout. That's TRENDIFIER. Get an 8 Sleep Pod Pro cover, queen or king sizes, goes right on top of your current mattress and will absolutely change your energy every single morning for the rest of your natural life, so long as that may be. Since I started using my 8 Sleep, it feels like I slept 8 hours every night, and I promise you, I haven't slept 8 hours in 3 years. I haven't even slept 7 hours in 3 years. So anyway, get that. You'll love it. Link in description, TRENDIFIER checkout. Let's get back to Lou.
That's how much money you and I are going to make. You keep doing this. I go, sounds great, but I'm only here to lose weight, champ.
Now, how old was he at the time?
Oh, I don't know. He just came back in after his suspension. He had just come back. He was fighting Jerry Quarry for the title, or for his first fight back.
Because this was like 75?
Yeah, around then.
Something like that? Yeah. And then he was, when was the Rumble in the Jungle?
Oh, God, that was 78.
Okay, so that was a few years after.
Somewhere 77, 78. That was, Ali was fought, he fought, I think he fought the Rumble, Foreman. He fought Foreman before he fought Frazier 3 times first. Then he fought Foreman. Yeah, I think that was it. I'm not sure.
God, they were so loaded. That division was so loaded.
That was the heavyweight era you're talking about.
You were in it.
Even the top 10. You're talking about Ron Lyle. If you ever want to see a fight, a real good heavyweight fight, watch Ron Lyle, George Foreman. Go on YouTube and pull it up. Both of them down. Both of them back up, fighting, punching. I mean, you cannot believe the action in this fight. You could feel it. I mean, you could feel the punching. Like, I mean, if you were like myself, I was in there. I know what it's like. You feel those punches when you see it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Oh my God, look at that. It was so. But you're talking about Lyle, Foreman, Frazier, Ali, Jerry Quarry, Oscar Bonavena, George Chavallo.
You talked about him before. I know that name.
George Chavallo's
I've
from
never
Canada.
seen video of him.
Oh my God, George Chavallo, Chuck Wepner.
Know him? Yeah,
Chuck Wepner,
Yep.
the Bayonne bleeder from New Jersey.
Yep.
He's the guy who got me inducted into the New Jersey boxing.
He was
Hall
the
of
guy
Fame.
that was like the inspiration for Rocky.
Yes, he was. Yes, he finally got his due too. Stallone finally gave him some money. I heard that he won a lawsuit and got some money. I was happy because he's a great guy.
That was like a 30 for 30, right? They made a documentary on that. I believe they did. Maybe like a decade
on him
ago.
being the real Rocky.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he did. They also made he had his own. He had his own movie. He had his movie put out. Another movie, his own movie.
Like a doc or
No, it was a movie about the Bayonne bleeder, which is the real Rocky.
No shit. Yeah, because I guess the story was Stallone went and saw the Ali fight versus Wepner because Ali decided to give this unknown guy a shot, and Wepner took him the distance. Didn't win, but took him the distance.
Knocked him down.
And Stallone was like, holy shit, that's one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen. Goes home, locks himself in a room, writes a script in like 2-3 days that became like, I think it was like 10-15% of what the final script was, but it was Rocky. And then one thing leads to another, ends up finding his way to star in it, becomes
Rocky,
a worldwide renowned Rocky. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now everybody, you talk to anybody, when they see Stallone, they say, hey Rocky. They don't call him Stallone or they call him Sly or whatever. They don't say that. They call him Rocky.
Rock. Yeah. It's the most like indelible, I mean, especially like in Philly, but everywhere. It's like the most indelible story of like underdog perseverance. It's synonymous. But Wepner was, because he was, even though they called him the upstart, in that technically for what he was doing, fighting the greatest ever do it, he was. But he was a pretty legit fighter.
Wepner?
Yeah.
The Jersey State heavyweight champ.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he fought a lot of guys, fought a lot of the top guys, and stayed right there. Just held his own. I mean, Chuck Wepner was a great fighter, and never got the proper due, but unbelievable. Now I think he did get it with his movie and with Ali. With Stallone finally admitting that he is the real Rocky and things like that. So he got his due.
That's good. But you're in the gym. Ali says we're going to make a lot of money. You were just there to train. You're still telling him you're there to train.
Yeah,
and then
only
does Dundee does he like show up tomorrow?
They say, come back tomorrow. We want to talk to you. So I left. When I left, I had a motorcycle. I even though I hurt my knee, I had a motorcycle. I drove home on the motorcycle. When you're in Miami, traffic gets crazy. You get the motorcycle, you can scoot through traffic and, you get out. So I had the motorcycle, and I come back the next day, and I'm training. After I'm training, they called me in the office. And they said, "Lou, we got a proposition for you." They introduced me to Murray Gaby. Murray Gaby was my manager, and he was part of the Mendoza group, who owned my contract.
Was he Ali's guy?
No, Murray
No.
Gaby was
How do you spell that? Gaby or Gaubby?
Gaby, Maurry, Murray, or Muarry.
Yeah.
Murray Gaby, and he was actually an ex-pro. He was an ex-pro fighter, and he was an actor. He went to University of Miami. He did both, and he was a great guy. He's not with us now, but he was a fantastic guy. Was unbelievable to me. So they offered me a contract, and they said, "We want you to start fighting." I said, "But I just got hurt. I got a lawsuit. I got hit in the face with a glass in Greenwood Lake, New York. After I won the Golden Gloves, I was getting ready to go into the Olympic trials. I got hit in the face with a glass.
When you were like 18, 17?
Yeah. So I got 365 stitches. Here, this scar here.
And then this is years later, but there were still problems there?
No, but the case was coming up, and I thought I was going to make a lot of money on the case. So I told the guys, listen, I can't box now. I got a cut here. What happens if it opens up? So Dundee looked at it. He goes, that's under your eye. He goes, how much do you think you're going to get for that case? I don't know, 100, maybe 150,000. He goes, we're talking about millions here. So, you hear that millions and all of a sudden, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. So I started running and I started, jogging even though my leg was killing me. I was doing okay. I did all right.
How far could you run?
I was running 4 miles,
Holy shit.
but I would swim.
Yeah.
I got into swimming and I started swimming. And I started swimming 2-3 miles before I ran. And I'd run 2-3 miles, but swim 2-3 miles. And
you do that in the pool, or you go in the
lake,
ocean with the sharks?
In the lake. I did the ocean after I found out there was alligators in the lake. I'm swimming there for
Wait, what lake?
There's a lake where I live. They have these man-made big lakes.
Oh, a man.
So I'm swimming there.
You're swimming in one of
those? I used to run around it 3 miles, and then I would stretch, and then I would go in and swim and back and forth. I'd swim back and forth. It'd be about 3 miles. So I'm swimming there. I come out one day, and there's a Dade County Metro cop car there. I get out of the water. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "What is this trick question?" I'm swimming. I said, "I'm getting ready for a fight. I run, and then I swim." He goes, "Do you know there's alligators in there?"
Are you fucking crazy?
I said, "Why'd you tell me that?" He goes, "There's alligators, a lot of them. They grab you. What are you, nuts?" So I said, "Well, they haven't bothered me yet." So I go, "Now I can't go in. Now I'm going to be looking every which way because you got me worried I'm going to get pulled in by an alligator."
Lou,
So
I think you had the alligators scared. I think they were afraid of you.
So I just didn't go there anymore. And that's when I had my wife. I had a boat. I had a nice boat. And she used to take the boat out and I would go out 3 miles.
In the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, and then she would follow. She would follow me back. So if I see a shark or something, she'd hit the engines, boom, and the shark would take off.
Did that happen?
Yeah, but
so you went from swimming with the alligators to the great whites.
Well, the
bull
down
sharks.
in Florida, they're not
bull sharks.
Not bull. They're what do they call those sharks? White tips.
There's a lot of bull sharks down
There's
there.
a lot, not in Florida.
There were. I jumped over a bull shark in Florida. Swear to God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hammerheads, white tips, and reef sharks. Bull, there might be a bull here and there, but not too many.
We're still talking things that bite.
Yeah, things that go bite in the night. But it was easy when you have your wife behind you. And the only thing that scared me every time she hits that engine, I say, "She must have seen a shark." I start picking it up a little faster.
So you'd swim 3 miles back, like what part of Miami? Where right
Key
where the port is?
Key Biscayne. I go out Key Biscayne because that's where I had my boat parked in the Key Biscayne Marina. And she would get in the boat, and we'd go out, and I'd jump in, and I'd say, "Okay, follow me back," and I'd go back, and she'd be following me. So make sure that there was no shark. She would see a shark, she hit the engine, boom.
How many days a week did you do that?
5.
Jesus Christ.
5 days a week. So I got good sized shoulders, and my back was nice and strong from all that.
Now, how long did it take before, how did they start gearing you up? Because you hadn't been boxing in, I guess, 4 years or something like that. So how soon did you get a fight? How did it all work?
Well, I was training at the gym, and then after about 3 months, I got down to about, I think I was 258.
Holy shit. You took off 60 pounds?
Yeah, in
70
4
pounds?
months, yeah. Eating right, dieting, So I took off the weight. I was 258 for my first fight. And I was sparring then, in the gym. So I that's how it started. And then every month I fought after that, every month. Or every 2 weeks. In the beginning, it was every 2 weeks.
Jesus Christ!
Because Dundee wants to run a show. If you're a draw, he's running a show.
And where were you all over the country, or?
No, Miami.
Always Miami.
Yeah. Well, then I went to Orlando. Then I went to the Garden. Then I went out to Vegas. Then I went.
So yeah, all over the country.
But not too many. Most of my fights, I'd say, I had 27 or 29. I can't remember right now. 20-something fights. Most of them were in Miami. Because Dundee wanted that gate, because, you're talking about when I don't know anybody in Miami. I just moved down and I got divorced and I was by myself in Coconut Grove, living in Coconut Grove.
Wait, you were married when you were 20?
Yeah, I was married. I've been married 5 times.
No shit.
So I got married when I was 19. Then that's the one I moved to Florida with, and then I met a Cuban girl in Florida. And after I got divorced from her, and I married the Cuban. It's the only one I have children with. My daughter and my son. I have twins, boy and a girl. That's the one. That's the mother of my children. Then I met another girl, a Portuguese girl. Then I met a Russian.
You're just going all over.
When I was in Greece. When I was in Greece, I lived in Greece for 4 or 5 years.
Wait, you met a Russian in Greece?
Yeah, a Ukrainian girl.
Was her father?
Yeah, he was a Russian wise guy.
Yeah.
So then I came home and I met a Polish girl, American girl, Polish descent, and that's who I'm married to now. I'm very happily married.
I was gonna say you've been married a long time now. I was like surprised to hear that.
Yeah, 13 years.
You're just around the whole gamut. It's kind of hard though. I gotta think, being, especially a sport like boxing that just requires. I mean, you just explain it with the swimming and everything as one example, but it's round the clock training. It's a brutal sport. It's all the time.
You have to.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. Like keeping everything else in line.
Exactly. You hit it on the head. If you can't. You have to have good backing. If you're going to be a pro fighter, I don't care who you are or what you do, you can't have a job and be a pro fighter. It just can't work. You have to live. You have to get up at 5 a.m. and you got to go run so that the air is still. It's not freezing cold. Or like if you live in Jersey, you got to have people behind you so that when you're going to train for a fight, you got to go 8 weeks, you got to move to Florida. And you got to train down there. Mm-hmm. And that's where you got to train. That's where you have to train in a warm area, either Arizona or Florida. So you got to go where, you can do that. You can't do that up here. How are you going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and it's 3 below?
Yeah, it's brutal.
And you got to go run in the snow. I mean, okay, all that stuff with Rocky in the movie with the
Drago.
With the pole on his back and he's walking through the snow. That's all the movies. That's the movies. That's not real life. So if you really want to do this, you have to live it, eat it, sleep it, everything. It's hard. Your diet has to be perfect so that what you eat turns to muscle. It doesn't turn to fat. So you have to work harder to get it off. I mean, it's all a hard thing. All the different muscles you have to use. You have to do strength and conditioning. Years ago, they never did that. They did calisthenics, but never strength and conditioning. Like today, strength and conditioning is a big part of a boxer's,
Well, what did you do? So when you were training, like, did you lift a lot too?
Never lifted weights in my life.
You've never lifted weights in your life?
No, never. I mean, fooling around, at the gyms,
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this too. All the times I saw you at the gym, I know you do it sometimes, but I never worked out with you or saw you working out, and yet every time I see, you're still, what are you, 60 now?
I'll be 70 in January.
Jesus Christ. And you're still, you beat the shit out of everyone who's been on this podcast. You're like a fucking mammoth. It's like, it's got to be natural then. Like, you never lifted a weight?
No, I got very lucky. When I was 17, I was in high school. I graduated at 17. But I graduated high school around 5'4", 157 pounds.
Wait. You graduated high school?
Yes.
Or middle school?
No, high school.
But you were 6'5" when you were 18.
I grew that big during the summer of my graduating year. I grew from what I just told you to 6'2", 225 when I left the hospital. They thought they were going to cut me from here to my belly button. And they were going to open me up to find out why I was growing day by day. I was growing day by day.
In the summer, you grew 8 and 9,
when
10
the coach
inches,
saw me,
whatever.
when my coach saw me the next school year, he started crying. He goes, "Oh my God, you grew into your mouth." He goes, "Oh my God."
Did they figure out why that happened?
No, it was sudden burst of growth. Now, years later, it couldn't have been what was wrong with me. I had an ablation. I was at the gym, Whippany, and I had an extra valve in my heart. All these years, they heard a sound, so they called it a heart murmur.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't know what it was because they didn't have the technology.
Wasn't that a Sopranos character?
Yeah.
They called him murmur.
Yeah. So I had the murmur, right? So then I go to the doctor. They wanted to cut me from here, but instead they did an upper and lower catheterization, and the doctor labeled me just a sudden burst of growth. He goes, "There's nothing wrong with your son. It's just a sudden burst of growth." I said to him, "What about this? What about this? Why the rest of me's growing? What about this?" He said, "You got the white man's disease. Other than that, you're going to be a big boy." So So
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm growing like crazy. What about this? Nothing. That's the only reason I'm growing.
But did you say you played football in high school?
Yeah, I played.
So what were you playing? Like tailback?
I was a cornerback and safety.
So that's why no one was scouting you, because you were just some dude, and then you show up and suddenly you're. And I guess you grew even more after that.
I went to 6. I stopped at 6'5.5", 305.
God damn.
Right now I'm about 300 or 290. I was 304 when my wife, when I took her to the doctor last week or the week before. And then I went yesterday to the doctor with her, not yesterday, Saturday, and I weighed again and I was 290. So I was really happy I lost 14 pounds. I've been trying to get down.
You look good. You look great.
Trying.
And you still, I'll bet you'd still be taking punches to the gut in a warm-up for a fight.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
No problem.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Yeah. I was like a little scared. Because that's the thing. I'm like, you're telling me you don't lift weights, you never did this shit, and like, I guess things like some of the stuff like swimming and stuff like that has to help, but you gotta have like abs of fucking steel under there still.
No, I got a good core, but the abs aren't that.
I'm saying like, I should have said the core.
My core is like a rock, but the rest is still flab. You're getting there. You know, you're getting old. You get 70. You got to start lifting. I can't
believe you're 70.
I have to start lifting weights though, because that's the only thing at my age. That's the only thing that you'll get muscle again with.
And you get bone. It does something to like keep bone density too.
Bone density, yeah, all that. If you don't lift weights, you don't have to be. I don't have to be a power lifter. Just go in and do like sets of 12 to 15 with light weights just to tone up.
I'm gonna walk in the Ray's place next year. You're gonna be benching 325.
You're gonna like you'll like Ray's place. Ray's place is.
Yeah, I gotta go visit that.
It's off the hook. It's off the. I mean, he has there's machines where you put so much weight on 1, 2, and 3, and as you hit as you're pushing the weight, it's the first. You push it for here and then for there and then for here. There's certain weights for here, certain weight for here, and a certain weight for here. You get stronger so much faster. It's like, I said, Ray, where did you get all this? Because I've been doing so much research. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be years. And he's so into that shit. I used to go to Ray for recovery.
Yeah.
When I was having elbow problems, he fucking fixed
he helps
it.
you out. He gets you
I
right
never
up.
had a problem again.
Yeah, well, he's got all the equipment now. He's got everything. And now he has the office over there, his little office. He has all his equipment there. So if anybody gets hurt during his training, or even if they're training by themselves, and they ask Ray to help them, he helps them right out.
That's awesome. I'm happy for him. That's just
me too. I think he deserves it. He works hard. He's a hard-working guy. And you know what? He's good.
He's so good.
He's good at what he does.
Knows everything about it. He's like I used to call him like the scientist with
played
that
football
stuff.
too.
He played. Didn't he play in like NFL Europe too?
Yeah.
He was telling me when he was over in one of the L's, Lithuania, Latvia, one of that shit, like whatever it was. They were going out, like they would go out on like Monday, like the off day, and it was like fishing with dynamite in a barrel, because apparently one of those countries has like no men in it.
Yeah.
So they're like the only guys, and all of them are hot. Like all the women are hot. So they're like, oh shit. It's like, it was fucking insane.
When I went to Greece and I met Russian women, I said, man, the United States has been lying to me. I thought you had scarves on your head, you had forearms bigger than mine, and you big ugly women, but oh my God, they were gorgeous.
That's when you figured out that the government wasn't always telling the truth.
Oh my God, they're not telling the truth. I grew up with a bunch of lies. I thought you Russian women, you're Russian? Oh wow.
That's hilarious.
Blonde hair, blue eyes, black hair, green eyes. I mean, they were gorgeous. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
A lot of talent in Russia.
Yes.
There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in Greece, too. I'm
Greece
sure it was
beautiful.
hard to pick out.
Greece is beautiful.
Greece is something.
Greece is unbelievable. It's like living in a fairy tale. Like you see, I'm waiting for the sirens to call. You could rent a boat. Well, I don't know about now, but when I was living there, you could rent a sailboat, 22-foot sailboat. Never have to put the sail up. Use a little engine, go from island to island. Mm. You park off the island, off the beach. You throw your anchor in the water. You swim in, lock up, swim in. You have a big Ziploc with your clothes in it, shorts, T-shirt, and a pair of sandals. You get up, you dry off, put your bathing suit over a tree there, over a limb, And you walk into the town and have breakfast and have lunch and walk around. And at night, the nightclubs open up. You could pair of shorts, T-shirt, and sandals, and you could get a drink in one bar, walk in the next with the same drink, and they don't care.
No. Now, how was the nightlife when you were there, though?
Oh, yeah. Off the hook.
Yeah.
There, 8 women for every guy.
Greece is the best kept secret. And like everyone goes to Mykonos and stuff now, but I'm talking like the rest of the country too. Holy shit.
Athens is off the hook.
You're going to say Athens?
Yeah.
No shit.
I lived in
the last place I was going to say. I lived
in the Soho of Athens. It was called Glyfada. I had a penthouse. I lived right on the water.
When was this?
A 2-bedroom penthouse. I lived there for 5 years.
When?
When I got out of jail, a bunch of guys, we got involved in some conspiracy. 32 of us were involved. And they got arrested. One guy got arrested. And when one guy got arrested, it's the domino theory.
Yep.
So I said, forget that. I'm the last domino. I'm out of here. I left. So everybody got arrested but me. I left the country. I went and lived in Greece.
Wait, you skipped bail?
No, I didn't get bail. They never got me. I left before they got me.
So you jumped the indictment?
Yeah, I jumped the indictment.
Oh my God! So you just went to Greece?
Yeah, I went to Greece.
Do you speak Greek?
No. Now legal. But no. But then I didn't.
All right, we'll
but where I lived in Glyfada, they had an American base, so everybody spoke English. So Glyfada was like the Soho of Athens, and I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment right on the water. It was gorgeous. Everything was beautiful. The apartment, take a guess what it cost me, in a penthouse right on the Mediterranean Sea.
What year are we talking? 84?
No, 89.
89. In today's dollar value? Were you doing rent?
Yeah, rent. I rented.
$1,000 a month.
It was $250 American.
Back then, though.
But
right,
now
so
listen.
today that'd be like $1,500,
right,
something like that.
$250 over there is a lot of money, American.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to remember, the apartment was fully furnished with TVs, telephones, everything, knives, forks, spoons. No, it was just a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
1 floor overlooking a balcony. It was a penthouse with a big balcony overlooking the Mediterranean right there. I mean, it was unbelievable. What I tell you, unbelievable. All I had to do was put my clothes in a drawer, and I lived there. Had my own phone and everything already. Everything's in there. Phone, everything's there.
Wow.
So
Greece is, first of all, a lot of Greeks speak phenomenal English.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
Well, they live right in Astoria. They have a whole Greek community over there.
Yeah, and there's a ton of overlap. Like my best friend from my whole life is Greek. He's a dual citizen,
cool.
Right? So I'm very familiar with the culture and everything.
And you've never been there?
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, you got to go with him.
I've been there. Yeah. We did the nightlife in Greece. I've been to Greece a couple times, and it's fucking insane. But when I was growing up, anyone who still lived over there, they're all family. They're all related. They come here, they visit. They lived over there. Like the Americans who were dual citizens lived over there in the summers. There's a ton of overlap of that culture.
The Greek government and it's so relaxed. Everything's so...
Yes.
The word the Greeks say meta means later. Meta avril, after tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't want to be bothered. That's the way it was. And it's funny. I wanted to open a nightclub, and I'm walking around in Glyfada, and I find this open store for rent. So I go in there. I talk to the guy. I tell him I want to put a nightclub in here. He goes, "Go ahead. I don't care what you do." So we came up with a rent, and I go and I get a friend of mine who's from America, who I met out there from Livingston, New Jersey. Couldn't believe it. So I met him.
Had to go all the way to Greece for a Livingston guy.
So he goes, I go, John, can you help me out? I want to build a bar. He's a carpenter. Sure, we'll build it. We built a bar. I went to the liquor store, bought liquor, and I was open. No liquor license. You don't need none of that over there.
On.
Yeah, you don't need none of that. You open up, that's it. I put in a DJ box, a booth, and I had CDs come with my brother. I call my brother, and I make him go to the city, go to all the clubs like Studio 54, all the newest clubs at the time, wherever was open. Get me CDs from the DJs, and they would give me the CDs, and I'd throw them in there and put them on. And I had a box. The guy ran a line and a speaker outside so the kids could hear the music, and they forget about it. They'd run to my place.
How big was the space?
Oh, it wasn't that big. It was nice. It was on the second floor, over top of some other nightclub.
Did you have an outdoor deck?
Yeah, an outdoor deck.
Shit. What was it called?
It was called Harisa Nasa, which means breathless.
That's awesome.
But it was.
I'm surprised you didn't just call it loose.
Yeah, I was going to call it something crazy, but I did. I said I better not.
How long did you have that?
They were still looking for me.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Let's loop back around because we skipped like 15 years there, like with the whole thing, and then we'll get to how you ended up in Greece and all that because that's wild. And like that's another thing. Like I've heard a lot of the individual stories in there, but I don't have the full picture of how it came together. So you signed with Murray Gabby, who I got up behind us right there. So he just died 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's Murray right there.
Yeah. Okay.
His name was Marty Kaplan. His birth name was Murray Gabby.
Changed it from Marty Kaplan. That's like
Marty
a simple
Kaplan.
name to be born with, though.
Yeah, I don't know why I think he changed it to Gabby because when he was boxing, they said they didn't want to use a Jewish name. I'm not sure, but that's what I was told.
Gaby's not a Jewish name?
I don't know. It sounds Jewish to me.
I was going to say, like, I don't know what he did there. Okay. So you said he was your manager, the Mendoza group, and some of the guys in there were your trainers.
Yes.
You trained always at Fifth Street?
No, my trainers. They were my managers.
Your manager. So
Trainer was Dwayne Simpson.
Dwayne Simpson. That's right. So you were training at Fifth Street Gym your whole career?
Yes.
Pretty much?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you say it was until you had your first fight after you walked in there and met them?
3 months.
So 90 days, they get you out to an event to do. And
right in Miami at the Miami Beach Convention Center.
And you had an amateur record, obviously, so now you're a pro.
Yeah.
And, were you fighting anyone of note? What was the deal with the first fight?
No, the first fight, the guy was somebody who fought there before. He was 1-0, and they gave him, I fought him, and then I knocked him out.
And how many rounds was the fight supposed to be?
4.
Okay. So you have to, and that's what you were explaining on the amateur circuit. You were explaining like the sub-novice, novice, and the rounds.
But then with pros, you start out at 4 rounds, then you go to 6.
At what fight?
Maybe after 3 or 4, you go to 6. You maybe have 1 or 2, maybe 3 at 6. Then it's all according to how you do. Mm-hmm. Then you go to 8, and maybe you have 2 at 8, and then you go to 10.
Got it. Do they do 12 rounds?
Yes.
Yeah, they do, because the Tyson Fury fight
10 rounds are main event fights until you get a championship fight, which is 12 rounds.
So it's only championship fights.
Only championship fights.
That I didn't know. Okay. And then they're all 3-minute rounds in pro.
Right.
Period.
3-minute, 1-minute rest.
So you do your first fight, you do 4 rounds, you knock the guy out in what round?
First.
Huh. Quick work. So then how many fights did you end up doing your whole career?
I think 26, 27.
And over how many years was that?
I stopped in 80-something. This got me up there.
Yeah, let's see. Let's pull you up. This, by the way, this is an all-time picture. I'm going to put this in the corner so people can see it. What year is that?
That's the first day I walked in the gym. Remember I told you I put the mitts on?
That was the first day.
Those are the mitts.
They took that picture that day.
Yeah, that day they took the picture of me, exactly.
That's hysterical. You look like you're ready to murder somebody in that picture. That's like, I would look at you and I'd be like, all right, that's a boxer. 100%. Like you look like the kind of thing where it's like, that doesn't happen anymore. Like we don't see people like that go fight at all. Like they do more important things. They do something else. I don't know. But like this, back then, especially, it was like, God damn, you were a pro boxer in the heavyweight division. You were the biggest thing on planet Earth. It was like the center of culture.
Oh, in Miami, it was unbelievable. You go to restaurants, you can't pay a check. I used to get mad because where I come from, I always paid the check. You know what I mean? I don't care if I'm with my friends or not. I was the one that always picked up the check. Mm. So I'm going to Miami and I'm going out and I want to eat and I go to a restaurant and they say, no check. I go, what do you mean no check? Tell the owner to come here. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, no, Lou, you're my guest. And I was not used to that. I go to Miami Highlight. We're having dinner. We're watching the highlight.
The highlight game? The sport?
Highlight, the sport. We're going to the highlight and they announce my name and I have to stand up and bow and then everything's free. I mean, I was like the king of Miami. It was so weird.
And so Ali was training down there. Who else was training in that gym during those years?
Rodney Bobick, Mike Rossman, anybody who was anybody. Duran, everybody was there. Anybody who was anybody was there. Everybody was in there. And if they were heavyweights, I probably sparred with them because they wanted me they used me to work with a lot of the guys that came in.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your record here. Doesn't look like you liked going the distance too much.
No.
Yeah, you like some quick work there.
Yeah.
So you start off your career with 5 straight knockouts. Only one that was a called knockout. The others were just straight up knockouts.
This Hydro Lacy, see him number 3?
Yeah.
That's the Lacy.
Eddie Lacy?
Left Hook Lacy's father.
Oh.
Remember Left Hook Lacy?
Remember Eddie Lacy, the football player?
Yeah.
Who was like way too big?
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was his dad. That's funny. Hydro Lacy, number 3. So you knocked him out. How many rounds were these going? Like the first 3?
1 rounds.
They were all 1 round.
Yeah, 1 round.
You're not going to do that in the first round. And then first L was what? Like almost a year in?
First L was in the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. Ali fought Jimmy Young. I was on the undercard. Yes. Well, I got an abscess tooth. I'm not supposed to fight. But my mother's in the hospital.
What's an abscess tooth again?
When your new tooth is infected and the jaw gets real big, it gets a big infection.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not supposed to fight. The dentist tells me I'm going to take that out. You got to take some antibiotics for a couple of days, and then it goes down. Then I'll take it out. I said, okay. Well, I'm taking the antibiotics, and the fight comes up. I go, I'm taking the fight. I was telling my mother. I was on the phone with my mother when it came through.
What kind of money's in a fight like that undercard with Ali?
I think it was 5,000 or 10,000, something like that. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So
back
then, it was a 4-rounder. So I don't say nothing about the abscess to nobody, not to Angelo, not to Dwayne, not to Ferdy Pacheco, nobody. I don't say nothing. So we go to Landover. Way in, the guy sees me, I see him, no problem. The guy goes, see you later. I said, okay. So I know, I think the guy, I got this guy. He's scared to death. Get in the ring. No, go get it checked by the doctor. The doctor grabs the abscess. He goes, how you feeling? I go, oh, great. Everything's good. So I can't say nothing because my mother's going to be watching. She's in the hospital. I don't want to lose the fight, so I just take it. So I go in, get dressed, get in the ring, put the mouthpiece in, the bell rings. I go running across the ring, and I beat this guy, Bump Kelly. I beat him. When I say beat, I don't know how he made it back. They dragged him back to the corner after the bell rang.
So your strategy was just get this guy down as soon as possible.
Get rid of this guy as quick as possible. How he made it back to the corner, I have no idea. How they pushed him out for the second round, and I beat him again. Beat him to death. I go back to the corner. I go, what's wrong with you? I go, what do you mean? They go, settle down. I go, I want to kill this guy. So I go back out there and boom, boom, second round. Third round, same thing. I mean, they're looking at me and go, we don't know how he's standing up. You hit him with everything. I go, maybe my punches aren't that strong. They go, that ain't it. Look at him. He was all beat up. Fourth round comes.
Last round.
I'm punching the guy into the corner. I never went 4 rounds before. Never. I'm 1 round. I won 2 rounds.
Trying to picture you pissed off, like, this fucking guy's still standing.
So I jab him into the corner, and I hit him a good jab, and he goes into the ropes, and he comes off the ropes with his hands up, and I turn my head, and he hits me in the abscess. With my mouth, I had a big mouthpiece. I swallowed all the poison from the abscess. Now I'm all hyperventilated because it's the 4th round. My heart's beating 100 miles an hour, and the poison goes all through me. So I turn around to face him, and when I open
die from that?
No, you just get fucked up. So I open my eyes, and there's 9 of them. Oh shit! So I throw a jab, boom, and he's over there. The referee goes, Lou, are you all right? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, okay, box. So boom, 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 we're boxing. Now I'm saying to myself, I got to wait till he comes in, or else I'm going to think he's over there. I don't know where the fuck he is. So he comes in to hit me. I hit him with a body shot, and he goes down. Referee pushes me back. They count. He gets up. I come back out. Now he's getting some type of, he must have done something. He goes, he must not be able to take a punch because I hit him once, and he doesn't know that I swallowed the poison. So boom, 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 we start going at it again. He steps back, and I throw a combination, and he's over there again. The referee stops the fight. He looks at me. He goes, Lou, how many fingers do I got up? He did me a favor. He went like this. If he didn't do this,
you'd have said like 35.
All right. If he would have went like that, I have no fucking clue. He went like this, and I said 8. He said, okay, start. And the guy started walking towards me, and I threw a combination again, and he was over there, and the referee stopped the fight. He goes, I can't do it no more, Lou. You're throwing punches. He's not even near you.
That's got to be crazy
to watch. There was 6 seconds left in the fight.
That's got to be crazy to watch. Like, if you're in the audience and you're like, wait, this guy was just beating. Why is he? What the fuck is going on?
Nobody knew. So now I go back to the corner. I said, my tooth is killing me. So Ferdy goes, oh, my God, he had an abscessed tooth. I go, I swallowed the poison. So now he goes, look, my eyes were all messed up. So Ferdy Pacheco looks at Dundee and he goes, he's hurting. I open my mouth. He goes, oh, my God, the tooth is cracked. Ugh. It was cracked. You could see the cracked tooth open. So he goes, the tooth's cracked. He goes, I'm going to give him a shot of morphine. I never took nothing in my life, drugs. So he hits me right there at ringside with morphine. Now I'm sitting there going,
you're like falling off the chair.
I'm ready to go out. So Ferdy Pacheco goes, we got to take him back to the room right now, because I was in a suite, 2-bedroom suite. Ali was in one room. I was in the other. They got to take him back to the hotel.
You're staying in the same
suite as Ali, yeah.
All right, we'll get there.
We're the same people.
Okay.
So they take me back to the room, put me in the bed. Pacheco goes, if you need more morphine. I go, I don't need nothing. I don't feel nothing. So I went right out. Ali beats Jimmy Young in a controversial decision.
What do you mean it was controversial?
They thought that Jimmy Young won the fight, but Ali got the decision. Okay. So they come back to the hotel and somebody calls in a bomb scare. So they empty the hotel. Now I'm on the bed, laying there in the bed in the room.
Fucked up on morphine.
Yes, I wake up. I wake up, I go to the window, I hear a lot of noise out there. I open the shades. The whole hotel, plus fire engines, police are out. What the? I look at that, I go, what the? They go, oh my God, we forgot Louis. They run upstairs, the firemen run upstairs, they put me on, I go, hey, let me put my clothes on. I put on a running suit, and they ran, oh God, they run me out of the place. They run me out of the place. But there was no bomb. We all went back in and we left the next morning. I'm on the plane. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm like just coming off the morphine. I'm like, I'm all messed up from the morphine. I never did that in my life. I never did no drugs. And here I am going, oh my God. I get off the plane. My wife's waiting for me. What happened? They go, oh my God, his tooth. They told her what happened. My wife takes me from the plane, calls her mother. Her mother comes to our house, and she takes me to a natural. She's an all natural nutritionist and all that stuff. She's into all natural stuff. Gave me huge box of vitamins I would take every day. I liked it, but
yeah.
But she was not about being all natural. She takes me to an all natural dentist. I have no clue what the hell an all natural dentist is. So we get there, and I open my mouth, and I'm in the chair, and the guy goes, they strap me in. I'm like, what do you strap me in for? They go, well, we got a little thing. He goes, which tooth? I go, I'm pointing. I open my mouth. He goes, oh, I see it. Grabs it and pulls it right out.
No
anesthesia, pull that. And he goes, I don't give drugs. I'm all natural. blood coming out of my They got me locked down. Get me out of here. I told my wife, let's go. I wanted to kill him. Let's go.
Oh my God.
So we left there, my blood running down my mouth. She goes, you should have rinsed your mouth. I ain't doing nothing. I got the nut. He pulled my tooth out and he gave me a needle, nothing. But yeah, that's what happened. I couldn't believe it. But that was my first loss. It was devastating. I never thought, but that's what happens, you know? Stupid shit happens.
Well, how long did you have to wait for the next fight? Actually, I can look right behind you.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks to stew on it.
And Dundee said, we got to get some more tickets.
Oh, my God.
He didn't care.
And you won again.
Yeah.
So then, because you were rolling for a long time. Win.
Yeah, I got about 18 or 11, 12, maybe 14 in a row.
And God damn, your career was like, you're not kidding. You were fighting all the time. So you start in July 22nd, 75 debut. And then your final record was, you had 26 total fights. So by the time you had your 20th fight in July 77. So in 2 years, just under 2 years, you fought 20 times. And then that's where it started to spread out. And from 77 to 81, you only had 6, and this is where you started losing. So what were you just punch drunk? Like, what was the deal?
No, I was just tired. I was just, I didn't feel like fighting anymore. I was living in Miami. I met some really nice people. I was making good money. You're making money. You don't want to do it anymore. When I would turn pro, there was about 7,500 pros in America. 7,500. Today there's maybe 2,000.
There's only 2,000 pros in the
Probably
country?
2,000 pros in this country.
How many in the world?
Not too much more.
Like times 10 kind of deal?
No, nowhere near that.
That's not a ton.
Maybe 4,000 total all over the world. There's not a lot. That's not a lot, and only 2% of them make money.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk
that
about
even seems high, though.
Make money, make $10,000 for a fight. That's not money.
It's better than nothing, but yeah, I know.
Yeah, talking about $10,000 by the time you get 6 weeks in, 6 weeks, 8 weeks of training, your food, your supplements, massages. You have to pay for trainers. Strength and conditioning and all that. By the time that's all comes out, what do you come up with? Maybe $2,500, $3,500 in your pocket.
Yeah, the fight game. There's hands everywhere.
Look at MMA.
Yeah.
Look at MMA. It's scary. You fight MMA, you fight for tickets. Whatever tickets you sell is what you make.
Even in the UFC, though, like these
UFC.
guys don't get
nothing compared to fighters.
They get a really small percentage
compared to boxing.
Now, looking at this two ways. This is interesting to talk about too. I'd love your thoughts on this. On the one hand, Dana White very much invented that sport in MMA. The public eye, right? It was a sport, obviously, but like he made it a thing. He made it like, oh my God, it's the UFC. We're going to watch it. So from a business perspective, he's also the face. Like the fighters are the draw, but he put it all together, and like they're not the only game in town, but they're the only big game in town. Like Bellator is there. There's a few others that are solid, but they're not the UFC. So the brandability power of being in the UFC, you can have way more upside on total purse to make. However, the fighters, as I said, are the draw. And I don't have the percentages in front of me, so I don't want to say them, but it's low. They make a very low percentage of the deal here. So even if I think that relative to other sports or even like boxing, yeah, a guy like Dana White and the UFC itself should take a bigger cut than you'd get in boxing or something like that. Fine, I may think that. The numbers I've heard, and I will look them up, the numbers I've heard, it's ridiculous. It's like...
scary.
It's
not right.
Astronomical.
It's not right. And these guys... are out there, and they're getting elbowed and hit with elbows in the back of the head, knees. Come on, I mean...
They're risking their life.
They're wearing 4-ounce gloves to hit you. If I hit somebody with a 4-ounce glove, I'll kill them.
When I watch, it's one of those sports, I do watch it. I'm a casual fan.
Yeah, me too.
But like, it's hard. Like when you see someone's face go dead because they've been knocked out with that shot, and the ref, he's 8 feet away,
and he's throwing more punches.
But he could be like 8 feet away. And that dude who's knocking him out while the motherfucker's in the air about to hit the mat, boom, he's down on the mat and hitting him in the head like with the thing where they do it like this, where they hit him like with the open palm and shit, or like with the hammer. And like every time I go see that, I got to turn away because there's a dead, defenseless head on the ground, and the dude's just doing his job because it hasn't been called. And boom, 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 like every time.
You better, because if you don't, he gets up.
That's what I'm saying, but it's like, how do you not die?
Yeah,
I mean, some do, but...
And they say, it's not, they say boxing is barbaric.
Not like that.
Give me a break. Will you please watch the two sports?
It's not even close.
No, it's nowhere near close.
And the boxing refs are all over it.
And you know what? And that's one thing. No matter what sport it is, as long as you have good people in the ring with them, the third man in the ring, if he's a good person and he knows his sport, you're going to be okay. As long as you trust that guy in the ring with you, you're okay. It's just when you have guys that are new and don't know what they're doing, people can get hurt in any sport.
That's what scares me, though, at the lower levels, what you were talking about earlier with the whole USA boxing, and guys can just become refs. Like, I know when I'm watching a pro fight, chances are that ref's probably pretty good. Been around, done a few things, been on TV.
But refs don't have nothing to do with the scoring in a pro fight.
No, but I'm saying like the guy in the ring there, though, like that's the person who breaks him up. That's the person who calls someone seeing 12 fingers.
Save your life.
Yes. You know, it doesn't make me feel good about the lower ranks when people are coming up and you could have Joe fucking Blow in there in the ring. It's a scary thing, but to your point, it's not like the UFC is a different animal.
Yes. It's insane. I didn't like it because of the way they elbows and knees and things like that. But you know what? It's another sport. I give everybody their due. Enjoy. You like it? Have fun. You know, I train a lot of guys. What they call their stand-up, we call boxing. They call striking. We call it boxing. I teach them, a lot of the MMA guys, their boxing. I help them out.
How much overlap is there for real? This is a conversation I'll have with people sometimes, and I don't feel at all qualified to have it. You know, I know what I know. It's minimal. And I know that just to the eye, there's a way different skill set to the striking, to me, tell me if I'm wrong, in UFC than boxing, because you have to be, number one, much more aware of the space and much more aware of that person's ability to close the space with things that aren't their hands, right? Like a leg can come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
So like the approach is different. That's why it was so impressive when McGregor did what he did and went and fought Mayweather. But like, how much is the basis of it, like the basics of where your feet are, how you lead with a jab, how you come in with a hook, how much of that is like overlap with boxing?
Well, in boxing, you want to be less of a target. So you try and, what I call stand skinny. You stand skinny so you're less of a target, okay? In MMA, you have to use your leg.
When you say stand skinny, you're saying you like kind of turn a little bit more angled.
It's the way you are now. You're not facing this way so that you're what you call squared up.
Yep.
You're not squared. You want to be skinny. And in MMA, they're kind of, they want to use the back leg to kick with. You don't ever kick. They kick with the front leg a lot. They use the front kick. But the back leg is the power where they come and they throw it. And so they have to stand a little more squared up. They're a little more squared so you can get that kick off faster.
Carlos used to make me like he trained me boxing, and he'd make me train just like basics with the kicking end of it and everything. I liked it. I'm more of a boxing fan, but it's an amazing workout, the lower body. But like, I remember the first time he was telling me about like where you'd stand square and how you kick back the leg that you're going to plant with just to get the other leg forward with momentum. And I'm hitting the bag, and you know, I'm a guy in a gym, and I'm like, holy shit, if I hit someone on the chin with that, they're not getting up.
No, they can't. You get hit with a foot in the face, you're done.
Now think about a pro throwing that with a boulder of a leg. Fucking rocket ship coming at your chin.
It's scary, you know. I mean, people who know how to throw their feet, you got to be careful. You never know when it's coming.
Did you think that sport was going to take off when it started, like kind of coming up?
No, not when it first took off. No, I didn't think. But Dana White knows how to market.
He does.
Yeah, he's a marketing genius. Can't take nothing from him, but he does screw those guys. I mean, Dana, I hope you're listening, but you got to give those guys more money. I mean, if you sign with the UFC, and let's say you sign with Nike, Nike comes to you and says, "We want you to wear our stuff. We want to sponsor you." He gets 10%.
If you're wearing it outside of UFC sanctioned events,
whatever you sign with Nike, he gets 10%.
That one I have less of a problem with. I have a problem with it because of the amount he takes on the events, because these guys can't fight more than a couple times a year because it's fucking insane, the type of fighting they do. So they get a chance to and that's when they have their attention for a quick moment. They get their chance to get out there and make money. That's where I have an issue, where he's taking a lot of that. So because he takes a lot of that, I have an issue with that 10%. If he paid them fairly in the fight, I'd understand that, because he's basically giving them the biggest fucking brand in the world, and there's nothing like it.
Okay, you're 100% right, but they get paid so little.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I have an issue with it.
It's not fair. The guy goes out there, take his life in his hands, and get paid peanuts. It's just not right.
And, the events make a ton of money.
Usually full. I never seen one of them not full.
And how much are the pay-per-views now?
Pay-per-views are not, it's all according to who it is. They go from 45 to 90.
Yeah, and it's quick. People just they hit a button on the you don't see the money go. It's like a subscription service. You don't see the money go out, so it's like fuck it, I'll buy it. It's a great business model, but you're starting to hear more noise now.
Yep.
From people inside and outside the sport, like this motherfucker doesn't pay. That's gonna.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna come up.
It's gonna bite him in the ass if he doesn't start. If they're who's gonna want to keep fighting for him? Go to Bellator. They're paying better. Bellator pays a lot better than UFC. So that's why those guys, most of the guys you see that they say they come to the end of their career in the UFC, go to Bellator. They're going there because they want to make money.
But in your career, just to go back to that, you were saying that you didn't have it in you after a couple years there because you only had one loss, and it was the one loss you told me about. You were 19-0, but then it started to go off the rails a little bit. But did you say you were doing something else?
Yeah, I had a couple of car washers in Miami. I was investing money that I would make in the fights, and I was doing real good. I invested. My ex-wife opened up something called Jolie, which was a clothing line for children. Our kids were the models. She would do shows, fashion shows, and the kids were the models, and the kids' classmates were the models, and it was good. It was a nice thing. She was selling clothes and designer clothes for kids. She was designing everything, and we'd get it made, and then have a show and sell them at the Bloomingdale's and Saks and all that stuff.
So you got the business bug.
She got it. Yeah, she wanted to do something.
But you kind of got it too.
Yeah. I wanted to do something else. Getting up at 5 a.m. wasn't making it after 2 years. I broke my ass. I did everything. I was, like you said at the time, I was 19-1 or 20-1, and I was done. I'm done. I was ranked, and I don't need this no more. That's what happens. You think you don't need it no more. When you don't think you need it, then just get out of the ring. Don't get in that ring, because it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I heard someone recently talking about that, some old fighter. I can't remember what it was or who it was, but they were explaining the same thing, where it's like, and Dubs actually had a line when he was in here. He was saying, I think Hearn had a quote that said, it's hard to wake up at 4 a.m. to train in silk pajamas. There's a thing that happens where, you start making a lot of money, doing well. It's a rough sport. You do it so many times. You did 20 fights in 2 years. You're training at Fifth Street Gym, training with the best in the world. Like in your case, there's so many different things going on every day. It's full time. And then, you're the guy around town, like you said. And now it's like, am I gonna train 3 a day tomorrow for this? Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go in there. I'll just do what I do, and I'll knock someone out in the first round and see what happens. And what the guy I was listening to, I wish I remember who it was, but he was saying, like, your training might have the same amount of time in it, but it doesn't have the same energy. Nope. And when it doesn't have the same energy, the result is never the same.
The hunger. You're not hungry anymore. You're not hungry. You make money. Like you said, it's hard to get up at 4 a.m. in your silk pajamas. Nobody wants to get up. And I don't blame, and I can't blame anybody, But after you get that first $1 million gate, you got $1 million fight, and you putting a couple $100,000 in the bank. You get any car you want, any girl you want. You go buy a house. It's different thing. Oh my God, you got to say to yourself, if I want to keep this stuff, I got to keep training like I'm doing. A lot of guys don't do it. They just can't do it.
Did you recognize that?
Yeah, I recognized it, but at the time. When you're talking about when I was younger, things were different. There was a lot of money being made in Miami, a lot of different money, not just legit.
No.
I was making crazy money, so I didn't need boxing.
Oh, did you get into that business then?
Yeah, I got into it. And everybody did. If you lived in Miami, you didn't have a choice. Kids walking down the street with a cart, pulling a little wagon with a 50-pound bale of weed in it.
I love this topic. You just walked into a bear trap here. I love the whole, like, how Miami just exploded, and then it was all just...
It was insane.
It wasn't... Most of the money coming through there, even to this day, it's not legit money. It's crazy shit.
They locked Miami down. In Miami, the difference is heroin and fentanyl have made a big...
That's everywhere. It's so sad.
It's sad, but But heroin is the big thing down there, and fentanyl now, because they don't even use heroin anymore. They take an ounce of fentanyl, cut it 35 times, and sell it for $3,000 an ounce.
And it's so cheap for them to make it. They're doing it in China. And they're putting it through here
to Mexico, and then bringing it here.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So back then, I mean, were you like in the cocaine trade? Like, what was the?
Yeah. I never saw cocaine. I moved to Miami. I was not involved in drugs. My father was a wise guy. He was involved in all that, but I never saw it. Never was involved. Never did anything.
Oh, your dad was connected.
Yeah. So my father was a numbers guy. He did the numbers all over Patterson and Passaic and Morris County, Passaic County, North Jersey. He did all the numbers. He did really big. So
you didn't want to get into that, though?
I was doing my own thing. I wasn't, But my cocaine in Miami. I was working at my night. They got me a job at a nightclub. One of the Mendoza group owned a nightclub in Coconut Grove called the Widow McCoy's, and Widow McCoy's is a cool club. All the young Cuban girls would come there and dance. And they were beautiful, man. The difference, back when I was a kid, when I was over at the Widow McCoy's, the girls in New Jersey all wore blue jeans and had long hair and were smoking weed. That's all they did. Blue jeans.
Girls in Miami were a little different.
Girls in Miami had one-shoulder dresses with slits up the side, high heels, with lipstick, polished nails.
Ripping lines of blow off a spoon.
They were hot. They were hot, man. The girls were ripped. I mean, I was like, whoa, man, whoa. And it was beautiful. It was really nice. And then this kid comes to Widow McCoy's one night, and he pulls in a brand new 450 SL convertible. Gets out of the car. He's got a thick gold chain on with a big medallion with diamonds. He's got a Rolex watch on with diamonds. And I go, hey, your father and mother take care of you, right, kid? My father and mother take care of me. I just bought my father and mother a house. And I gave my mother a car and my father a truck. I go, yeah, how'd you do that? He throws me a box of matches from our club. He goes, open it. I open it up, and it was cocaine. He goes, that's a gram of coke. I sell these here. I sell maybe 25, 30 in a night. I sell them for $50.
Oh, so he was a salesman. Like, he wasn't even a distributor.
Just a salesman making crazy money.
I'll bet.
He said, I sell 5 to 7 ounces in your club every week. So you figure it out.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm making crazy money.
Now, how much was he kicking back to the owners?
To the owner of the clubs?
Yeah.
Nothing. No, he don't care.
They didn't know about it?
No, they didn't know. So I said, well, you're done here. He goes, oh, come on. No, you're going to give it to me.
Yeah, now there's a price.
I'm going to do it. So he goes, oh, man. I go, just sell me the ounce and I'll do it. So that's what we started doing. Because he used to come to my fights, too. So he knew who I was. So I started doing it. I give the bartender the package, and we'd sell it every night. And I make a ton of money. I'm making $1,500 at the door. I was charging $3 to get in. $3 to get in at the door.
Just to you.
Yeah, there's no charge. Well, the owner of the place told me when I got the job, he says, Lou, listen, I'm going to let you manage the place. You be the bouncer and the manager.
Oh, my God.
He goes, but I want you to lose money. I don't want to win money. This is my loss leader. This is where I pay my taxes through this place because we're going to lose money. I said, I could do that. So I started charging at the door and keeping the money. And I started selling. I brought in Chevitz Regal.
What does that do for him?
Nothing.
It does nothing.
He don't want nothing. So I bring in 4 bottles of Chevitz Regal. The Cubans call it Chivas. Chivas on the rocks.
Yeah.
So I would bring in 4 bottles of Chivas Regal and put a red line on it and tell the bartender to put that money in a different box. So he would pour it from my bottles every night into the box. And then I'd give him some money out of that and I'd keep the rest. But I was making crazy money then. I mean, I was making crazy ass money and it was great. It was off the hook.
When did they get you that job? Like right away?
No, about a month into me training.
Okay, so while you were a pro, you were doing this too?
Yeah. I was working at night as a manager of a nightclub.
No shit. How long did you do that for?
2-3 years.
Wow. 2
years.
So then you come up on the end of your career, your wife's got the business, you were invested in car washes and stuff.
I had a car wash on Biscayne Boulevard.
Good way to launder money. Just saying.
Yeah. But I was also doing the coke business,
Yeah,
coke and
like
weed, marijuana. The boats would come off the shore, dump it in the water, and you go out with your boats and pick them up and bring back the bales.
Have you ever seen the Cocaine Cowboys documentary?
Oh yes, yeah, I know all those.
So
guys.
like Mickey Monday and all them.
I know all those guys.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they were pilots. They were making big money. Boy, they made crazy ass money. I was so happy for them.
So were you taking the boat out there and picking it up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had a Donzi with a 302 Chevy engine in it. I used to fly out, grab 4, 5, 6 bales, come back, and they pay you there. They pay you at the shore. You give them the bales, they give you the money, go back out and get another.
Who would pay you at the shore?
The people who owned the weed, they put it on the trucks.
Oh, so you would, in addition to doing what you were doing, you would also just be the gopher to go out and actually
bring it back.
And you get paid to go get it and bring it back.
Yeah, they pay everybody. They have a bunch of people there in boats going out and picking
So you
up.
never have to sell it.
You're talking about a big ship coming, just throwing bales in the water, and you guys pick them up, throw them in your boat, bring them back to shore. You give them you have to take at least 4. You give them. I used to take 6. Give them the 6, and they pay you. But I have my wife or a friend of mine sitting in the car, pay them, and I go back out again. Go in and out.
So this part of the business, you weren't even selling anything. You were just going and picking it up.
Picking it up.
Now, how often did you do that?
And then when it got into shore, after you got everything off, and they took it to a warehouse, you want to go and pick up bales. You could buy them. You want bales there.
And then price it out and
then
sell it.
Yeah.
Right. So
I used to bring mine back to Jersey because that's where you get the most money. You buy it in Miami you can buy dirt weed in Miami for $60.
Was this weed and coke, or was it just
weed and coke?
It was both.
Yeah.
So they drop it off because they would do it. What's that called? In Miami, there was like the hotel or the apartment building on the corner where they'd have the people in binoculars watching. You know what I'm talking about?
Key Biscayne?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So then they would dump it like 3-4 miles out, and you were one of the guys who would go get it.
Yeah.
And bring it back.
Yeah.
Now, how many days a week were you doing that?
Oh no, not weeks. It was once a month or twice a month.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get $15,000. Go out and pick it up.
$15,000 to go pick it up off the ocean.
Yeah, and bring it back. And every trip you get $15,000.
Now, how did you? What was the system they had? They had tracking devices on it.
On the weed?
Yeah.
No.
What? Like, how did you?
Not that time.
So, how did you identify where it was?
It's right there. The ship's right there. They're throwing it in the water.
Oh, so they wait till you get there.
No, they don't wait. They're throwing it in. As soon as they get there, they're throwing it in. They're looking for people with boats to go out there and get it. The drug dealers, go get it. Yeah, I knew all the drug dealers. I knew the people from being in the clubs. So they would ask me, you got a boat? I go, yeah, I got a boat. They go, you want to make some money? Yeah, I want to make some money. Okay, here's what you got to do. And I said, let's go. And that's when I started going.
All right, so let me understand this. They're flying in the plane. Maybe they're coming from the Bahamas at this point because they would start in Colombia,
right.
And then they'd fly to Bahamas. I forget, did they drop off stuff there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Bahamas, yeah.
They dropped off stuff there. Then they'd come from the Bahamas and shoot west directly towards Miami. So when they go to take off, it's whatever it is, like a 15-minute flight, whatever it is. They're taking off in the Bahamas, and they're going to be there. So if there's not a boat out there, they're still dumping it?
Yeah, of course.
So sometimes, how long would
they come in ships too?
I'm sure.
Marijuana usually came in a ship. Coke came in a plane.
So the boat would just dump it?
Dump the bales right off. They keep throwing the bales off.
What was the longest time it was sitting there before you got there?
Sometimes 20 minutes.
How did you know where it was going to be? It's a fucking ocean.
They tell you right where it's going.
But it's an ocean.
There's a big ship there. A big giant ship.
I know, but then you got
like a container ship?
There's waves and shit. Like it's going to float away.
No, it's not like, there's no waves. There's no waves like that. No, it's right there.
I shouldn't say waves. There's like currents, though.
No, it's not that bad. Believe me, they know what they're doing. If the ship's right there, the stuff they throw it in the water, it's an actual big circle of it. And it's right there.
How heavy was like
40-pound bales. I grab one bale, throw it in the truck, another one, throw it in the back. I just kept throwing one hand on the wheel, grabbing the bales and throwing them in. And then I turn the boat around, go in. Pick up my money and go back and get another one. Sometimes you can make 5 trips before the Coast Guard comes.
So they would dump them in heats. They would do like one circle, come back around, do another.
Unless the Coast Guard saw the big ship and saw them circling, then they'd have to go. They'd have to get out.
How many was the most they'd do? 6? You were saying?
Maybe 5, 6.
So what's that? Like 3-4 hours of work to do 5, 6?
A lot. One is 2 hours of work. See, that's why I said you got to get lucky, because if the Coast Guard comes, you got to go. I had a 35-foot cigarette. I mean, I had an 18-foot cigarette with a 302 Chevy engine in it. So I used to hit that.
How fast could that go?
It was 75 on the water.
And but it was only 3 miles out. It took you 2 hours a trip?
No, it's not 3 miles out. Less than that.
How far out was it?
Maybe a mile and a half.
So how's it taking 2 hours a trip?
2 hours. Who said 2 hours?
You were saying...
I said 2 hours for all the boat to get rid of whatever they dropped in the water, and then you come back in.
Wait. Back
2 hours of going back and forth.
You're right. Okay. Total, you're saying.
Yes.
And that includes like the drop off and everything.
Yeah. 2 hours of picking up, dropping off, picking up, dropping off, picking up, dropping off, as much as you can before the Coast Guard comes.
Now, did they because salt water spoils Coke especially. I mean, it spoils everything, but it spoils Coke completely.
Coke, no, Coke's wrapped.
So how would they do it?
Coke would be in like 20-kilo packages or 40-kilo packages. Big packages.
Now, what would they wrap it in?
Well, individual kilos wrapped in plastic.
Right. And then what else is
the big
on
thing's
it?
like a rubber thing, though. It floats. It would just float. The stuff would just float. A big package would float. You pull it in the boat, take off.
Now, they put I guess they don't need to because it already weighs 40 pounds, but was there anything to kind of, because I'm still trying to picture this, keep it in the same area? Because if I'm a mile off, right, and it's the Atlantic Ocean, and I dump something, it's 40 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is, if I let 20 minutes go by, it could be a half a mile that way. Maybe not a half a mile.
They know what they're doing. There's no current. Right there. It's right there. When we pulled out there, they're right there. Right there in front of you. You can't miss them. They're right there.
Now, were you doing, I imagine you're doing a check as you're going out, do I see any Coast Guard boats?
Oh, no, you got to take a look because the Coast Guard comes. Coast Guard usually, before they caught on, they had the big light in the front. So you say they got that big light.
Wait, are you doing this at night?
Yeah.
Always at night?
Yeah, always at night.
I guess that makes sense because you can see the fucking plane during the day.
I mean, see the big ship out there a mile off. What the fuck's he doing?
You know those planes that fly by the beach with the sign on them? You just see one of those flying by, oh, what's that coming out the back? See a boat come right there.
Funny, I'm coming home from the port of Miami one day. I'm on the airport expressway, and I'm in traffic, and I see this DC-9 low flying over South Miami. I go, and they had the side door open. I go, that motherfucker, he's going to drop stuff. He's dropping. So I shoot out of the traffic. I go all the way back down, and I'm following the plane. He's throwing stuff out of the plane because the police are yelling to him in the cars, land that plane. So he's throwing all the coke out of the plane, and it's hitting houses and busting. And one guy's outside, he's watering his lawn, and the kilo hits his, and it's all over, the coke busted. And the guy goes, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm going, yo, don't worry, I'll clean it up. The guy said, no, I'm calling the police. I said, don't do that, let me clean it up.
You're out there with a fucking dustpan.
I'm trying to clean it up. Shut up, leave it alone. The guy wouldn't let the guy would call the cops. He wouldn't let you on the property. He called the cops.
Oh,
there was
my
40,
God.
50 kilos that just said, maybe one broke, and it's all over the place. And he got mad as shit. I go, leave it alone. It's cocaine. Don't worry about it. He goes, no, I'm calling the police. I go, oh, whatever.
Oh, my God.
Idiot. We can make 100,000 right now.
Did you? Yeah, at least. I mean, you could be talking millions depending on how much dropped.
Yeah, I said, let it go. I'll get rid of it. We'll make a ton of money. He goes, no. Get out of here.
You didn't see it that way. But did you deal with the Colombians?
Oh, yeah. Colombia. I usually deal with the Cubans. The Cubans, there was like
in the 80s.
3 or 4 Cubans that dealt with the Colombians.
Now, what was it? They actually just did a documentary on this, and I watched some of it, but it's on Netflix. They did a documentary on, I think they were cousins. They were at least friends. Sal and, what the hell was the other guy's name? Sal and Willie. Willie Falcone and Sal.
Oh, Willie Falcone, yeah.
And Sal Magalota or Maglota, something like that. So they were the Cubans who in the 80s were like the guys.
Yes, they were getting the coke from the Colombians.
Did you deal with those guys?
Yeah, I knew them. I knew people who were with them, and I dealt with them.
That was.
Met them at the clubs. You know, I met them. I got walk in the club because of who I was boxing and everything like that. So I just walked right in.
Damn. So you, towards the end of your career, that's when you were getting losses because you weren't into it anymore because you were doing this.
Yeah, making money, crazy money.
So what? Like, did you have a conversation with Dundee?
No, I didn't. They didn't know what I was doing.
No, not obviously. I would assume they're not knowing that. But was there like, you know, you're 19-0-1, or you're 19-1 with the one loss being like an aberration, and then suddenly you lose a couple fights, and then I'm seeing they're giving you less fights after that. Like, is that a conversation that starts to happen? Like, hey, you don't have it anymore. What's wrong with you?
No. They said to me, "Yeah, what's up, Lou? You want to fight? You don't seem like you want this." I said, you know, just so busy. They said, "No, you're not supposed to be busy. This is your fight. This is your life. You're supposed to be doing this." And they wanted me to come, you know, get back into it and try harder. But I was married, and you know, it just my wife was pregnant, and you know, I promised her when she got pregnant I would retire. So that was another thing. She was bugging me about, you know, I don't want you talking through an interpreter to the kids. So I said, that's not going to happen. I'm a pitcher, not a catcher. And she said, no, I don't want nothing to happen to you.
So that's in your head a little bit. I mean, did you ever feel like, hazy?
No. I mean, yeah, you get punched a good shot, you know, but nothing where it hurt, like, you know.
You weren't letting people punch you too much either.
I was trying not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not, I mean, if people go look at your record on BoxRec, knockout, everything's a knockout. How many times did you even go the distance?
I think
you went the distance in Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
With Rojas in 77. What's it like fighting in the Garden? That's a good question.
It's outrageous. You get the willies walking in because you're talking about Madison Square Garden, you know?
Yeah.
You hear the announcer in the ring as you're coming towards the ring. It's unbelievable. It's great. What a feeling.
And that's like your home arena too.
Yeah,
growing up in North Jersey, being right there.
Yeah.
And were you an undercard on that one?
Yeah.
And who was fighting that night?
Jerry Cooney. Jerry Cooney knocked out Ken Norton, hit him in the throat.
I've seen the video of that fight.
I fought after them. I wasn't supposed to fight because the fight was...
That's like a famous fight.
It was supposed to be a 12-round fight. So Cooney knocks him out in the first round.
Yeah.
So they called me. They yelled to me, Lou, you got to fight. What? The fight's over. I'm dressed. I'm leaving. They go, no, you got to get ready. You got to fight. Damn it.
So it wasn't even planned.
Run inside, get dressed real fast. They wrap my hands, and I get in the ring. And
they threw you in the ring with another 250-pound man, unprepared.
Both of us were unprepared. First 2 rounds, that's why the round went the distance. The first couple rounds, we were just like waking back up because he was at the bar drinking when they called, and I was getting ready to go.
So you didn't, like, that was like a halfway experience. You couldn't really take it in because it's not like you're planning for the guard and then suddenly you're like, oh, you'll do. Let's go.
Get in. We need you to fill the time for TV. Get in.
Do you know how many lawsuits there would be today if they let that happen? That'd be a 9-figure night, all in all. I mean, like, holy shit. So that was right before, that was when you were still winning everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, when did you start doing the whole Mickey Monday going out and getting the boats or going out and getting the blow? Like, how long into your boxing career?
Oh, about a year and a half.
So right before this.
Yeah.
Okay. It kind of makes sense. So you're working, and that's like an all-night job,
well,
stuff like that.
When you're out in Miami and you're meeting everybody, everybody's making money, and you're at, you know, you want to make some money? They're asking people, you know, you want to make some money? You know, who doesn't want to make money? Yeah.
Right.
Cash.
And what about the greats though? Like Ali, Frazier, these guys.
They're getting paid millions. I wasn't getting paid millions.
Right. But still the question, you know, money's money. How much, to peer behind the wall here, how much of it was they were training all the time, 100%, exactly like we think about it in pop lore, versus they were also having a good fucking time?
Oh, yeah. They were having a good time. And remember, boxing, when you're going to train for a fight, it's 8 weeks. You can do what you want until the 8 weeks comes up. You got
even those guys, though?
Yeah, even those guys. Frazier and them, they didn't go crazy, but they didn't live, eat, and sleep boxing until it was time. You know? when it was time, then they got down to business and worked hard for 8 weeks and got ready for a fight.
What was Muhammad Ali like?
The best guy in the world. He was really a good guy. I remember they called me to spar one day at the 5th Street Gym. So I'm sitting there, and as I'm sitting there, Pacheco's catching me. And it actually became a Hallmark card, the front of a Hallmark card. It had a picture of me sitting there, and I'm looking down at Sully. Sully's a little old man in the gym, the guy who sweeps the floor and has a big cigar in his mouth, and he's going like this to me. He's pointing to me. And I'm looking at him with my headgear on, my boxing gloves, my cup, and I'm waiting to go in the ring. And he's giving me instructions, and it says on the top of the card, advice. And he made a lot of money for it. I never got nothing out of it. Cheap bastard, but what are you going to do? But I get in the ring with Ali, and I'm moving around. He said, I just want you to move around, box today, Lou, just box. So I said, okay. So I'm moving around, box. Go back, the bell rings, go back to the corner. He said, you look good. You look really good.
Muhammad Ali looks at you and says, you look good.
No, the other corner, my corner.
Okay.
Ali's in his corner. I'm in my corner. He said, you look great today. Wow, what's up? I don't know. So bell rings, go back out there. Same thing. Moving, slipping, a few jabs. I hit him with a couple body shots. Go back, the bell rings, go back to the corner. They go, wow. Now the people outside the ring are all starting to talk. Oh, this guy's looking good. Third round, same thing. I'm still looking good, they say. I come back to the corner. What the fuck, Lou? You took that step, man.
You hurting him a little bit?
No, not. Neither of us are getting hurt yet, but we're in there. We're boxing. Fourth round, I jab him into the ropes. He comes off the ropes, hits me 40 times. Boom, boom, bang, boom, 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 bang, bang, boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. What the fuck? I go, what happened? He goes, I was thinking. I go, man, go back to thinking. Holy shit. Go back to thinking. Leave me to, holy shit. He started laughing. Then we started moving around again. And then everybody shut up.
How often did you spar Ali?
I sparred with him about 25 times.
Holy shit.
25, 30.
Now, how many rounds would you do sparring with him?
Sometimes 2, sometimes 4, sometimes 3. It's all according to what he wanted. How many other heavyweights were there? He always sparred with different guys.
What's it like taking a punch from Ali?
He was so fast. He was just so fast. And he had that snap behind his punch. So when you got hit with it, you felt it. But it was good. He was just a good fighter. Great
good
guy.
Fighter.
Good guy. Good guy, though. I remember one night I'm fighting, and he comes to my fight. He came to the fight. I had just knocked the guy out. So I get out of the ring. I go back to my locker room to get ready. Because after every fight, I used to take my wife. We used to go to the Bahamas for 2 weeks. I could relax in the Bahamas and then come back and get ready for the next fight. But I'm trying to get in my locker, and it's locked. I go, who the hell locked my locker? And I'm pulling. I go, give me a knife. I can get it open. All of a sudden, the door opens this much. It's Ali. He goes, give me a few minutes. I'm the champ. I said, give you a few minutes. I said, okay. I shut the door. I sit down and I don't say nothing. About 8, 9 minutes later, so a girl opens the door, walks out, fixing her hair. Ali comes out going, don't forget I'm the champ. I go, oh my God. Let me get my clothes.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. He's such a legend in the sense because, he's also dead now, which adds something to it because he's not even with us, but he stood for so many different things in culture that went beyond boxing. He just had obviously it starts with the whole refusing to go to Vietnam and everything, which in hindsight...
I have no beef with them people.
Yeah. It looks like a pretty good decision in hindsight on his part based on what happened with that war, but it was so controversial at the time, and he was this larger-than-life person, too. He had such a... to me, he's one of the greatest speakers ever. People
loved to hate him, then they just loved him. They loved to hate him in the first when he was predicting his fights and big mouth and all that stuff. They thought he was a big mouth, but he wasn't he was a promoter. That's what he's doing. He's promoting the fights. People bought tickets. They wanted to go. That's why I want to see him get beat. They want to see him get beat. So I'm talking Archie Moore will fall in 4, stuff like that. And people wanted to go see it. and Archie would fall in 4.
I think this is the part that, like, in general, we don't think about enough in, the casual boxing fan or just anyone who's, like, ever seen a fight, is that whole aspect of what goes into driving the fight to get results. Like, what drives the people who get a chance to contend to be able to get there? Number one, they have to be great, but number two, they got to market. They got to have, like, controversy. They got to have stuff around them. And he's the guy who, to me, I know there were guys doing it effectively before him, but when you look at the story of boxing as a sport and then dragging it to UFC and stuff like that and marketing in sports, he's the guy. He knew how to say, get that spotlight right here, and I'm going to earn it. You're going to be happy it's here.
Yeah, Ali definitely was a promoter. He knew how to promote the fight. So, it was all beef, it was all hype, but he knew how to do it. And people wanted to come see him because of that. I mean, look, when Ali fought back in those days, back in the day, like in the early 70s and 80s, you wore a tuxedo to go to a championship fight. And, every star was there, every big movie star, every TV star, all the big politicians there, everybody was at the fights. Today it's different. You wear what we got on right now, we go to the fight. I mean, it's different, but it was a big thing. I mean, when I went to Frazier, Ali won. I went with my dad.
When was that?
74 or 72?
I'll look it up. Go ahead, though.
Ali Frazier won at the Madison Square Garden. My father got us ringside seats. My father wanted Frazier and I wanted Ali. Of course, Frazier won. But, I mean, all the people that I saw at the fight, Jack Nicholson was there, all of star movies, the women, the female movie stars. Everybody was there, all the mayor, the governor, stuff like that was all there, you know what I mean? Like, wow, look at this. But you don't see that anymore.
Not like that.
No.
But here's the other thing. Like, it was very disappointing to me how, for example, McGregor handled this last fight when he snapped his leg and was on the ground and then, fucking talking about the other guy's wife and his DMs and shit. And I'm not going to support that. I just think that's so across the line and it feeds into some of the negativity he gets on his brand. But after I'll say that, the other thing I'll say is he's a marketer. He knows what gets attention.
People want to go see him fight. Yeah, because he knows how to beef up a crowd. But at the same time, sometimes he's not real smart. He lets his mouth work before his brain. So
I agree.
So,
but I think he's my takeaway there is that he's sitting on the mat. Now, obviously, like, he didn't lose that fight per se. His leg snapped, but he's like, holy shit. I've now lost, ever since that Floyd thing, now I've lost like 2 or 3 out of 4 fights. I lost my one before this. I'm in here. My leg just snapped. People are going to be sitting at home going, his career's over. I got to change the narrative right now. So while I'm sitting on the mat, people aren't going to remember this. They're going to make fun of my leg and then talk about how I was talking shit on the mat. And God damn it, they are.
Yeah.
People are asking for his next fight. They're not being, there's still people going like, oh, he might be done. But they're tuned in for the next fight.
They're waiting to hear.
Yeah.
And they got him on the end of their seats. That's what he wants to do. I don't blame him. Look, I don't blame the guy. How much time does he have left? Don't forget, that sport, you don't have a long life.
Yeah, he's been fighting in UFC for like a decade.
Yeah, he ain't got a long life. He's got to grab it when he can. Because like we were talking about a minute ago, he don't make a lot of money.
How amazing was that when he made the crossover though and fought Floyd?
Made $100 million.
I mean, yeah, granted, but
they
still.
They gave him $100 million. Floyd Mayweather said, I'm going to give you $100 million. Make $100 million and fight the best fighter in the world.
He looked pretty.
Your first pro fight.
He looked pretty fucking good, though.
He didn't look bad.
Like, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, Floyd was going 1,000%. But Floyd was Floyd, and you could see it. I don't know what your opinion was, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but you could see it like 3 rounds in where Floyd was like, oh, shit. This guy can fight.
Well, he said he's got stamina. That's what he thought. He said, because usually a guy never fought before gets in the ring. Now, Floyd thinks after the first and second round, he's done.
Yeah.
But he had stamina. He's been in a ring before, per se. He's been in an octagon, but he's been in that situation before where he knows he has to last. And he fights 5-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds.
Still, the fight, you know, a lot of the fights, they don't go. I mean, weren't they doing? They were doing a 12-round fight.
Yeah. No, they did 8-round fight.
No, I think it was at least 10.
8 rounds.
I think no, because he got
8 rounds.
It was a knockout by decision, or TKO, and that was in the 9th or 10th round.
No, it was only 8 rounds.
I'm gonna check that.
It was the 7th round.
It was definitely. Hold on, because that, you know, that's a lot of time.
It was only an exhibition. It wasn't a fight.
Because I know the Floyd one he just did with Logan Paul was 8 rounds. That wasn't
They're all
10
8
or
rounds.
12.
They're all 8 rounds.
Why am I feeling like I remember this? How many rounds would this have been? In the 10th round. Look at that. Mayweather defeats McGregor in 10th round. Yeah, this was a special fight they did. So it was scheduled for 12 rounds and recorded the second highest pay-per-view buy rate in history. Yeah, because I remember thinking that, like, they're doing. It was
recorded for 12 rounds?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a 12 round. I remember that. He lasted into the 10th round because I remember Floyd was starting to turn the fight in like this end of the 5th round.
Scheduled 12 rounds.
Like McGregor was winning the fight for like 4 rounds. It wasn't by like a fuck ton, but he was winning the fight. And then Floyd in the 5th round, you started to see him turn it 6th round, like, whoa.
Well, what happened was Floyd saw him keep dropping the hand,
yep.
And then he just threw the right hand over it, kept throwing there. So from the 5th round on, he kept hitting him with the right, and McGregor couldn't get out of the way, and that was the end of it. That was the end.
Now you were saying Ali is your greatest of all time. When you hear people say that Floyd is pound for pound the best ever, what do you think of that?
I like Floyd Mayweather. I think he's really, really great for boxing. The money he makes. He's another promoter like Ali was. He's probably bigger than Ali because he's making so much more. Talk about a guy who makes almost $1 billion for a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of money, you know. And he's only doing what he loves. And now he's old, and he's still doing it. You know, he still
didn't look horrible. He didn't look horrible against Logan.
No,
he can still do it.
And but you're talking about Muhammad Ali, who made boxing. There would be no Floyd Mayweather without Ali. Nobody would care. So,
but from a abilities perspective, forget the marketing, forget all that. Like pound for pound.
Abilities perspective, I'd have to say that Mayweather pound for pound would be the best.
And what makes him the best to you? Like, what does he do?
He's one of the best at not getting hit. His defense is off the hook. He can make you miss, stand right in front of you and make you miss. You're throwing punches, he's going like this, making your punches go left, right. He's really good, and then he can counter. He make you miss and counter, bang. Make you miss, counter, bang. So you're throwing punches, missing, and he's hitting you back. How the hell is he doing that?
It looks like some people have complained over time, especially because he hypes up the fights so much, and then he fights. Like the casual fan, they always are in for it because of what happens before the fight, but they usually complain after his fights. And I'm like, you know, I don't pretend to be an expert at boxing. I'm not, but I know the sport. And I'm like, dude, it's because he's boxing. He's the best boxer. You want to see someone knock someone out in the 2nd round. That's not what he does.
That's right.
That's not what he does. The guy, from my eyes, from very, very amateur eyes, it's like I look at his footwork and then his speed and quickness that you were just alluding to with that footwork, and I'm like, I've never seen. It's like a dance. It's like watching someone tango for the first time from Cuba. Or from Spain. I get the country wrong, but wherever it's from, like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He knows his way around the ring. I mean, you can't take that away from him. He can make you miss and then counter, and that's his big ticket. That's what he wants. That's what he gets away with. You know, he can make you miss and then counter, so he gets the score. He don't have to work hard; just has to win the fight. Nobody says he has to knock you out, like you said. He don't have to knock you out. I just have to win the fight. I'm here to win the fight. That's all.
He doesn't have it.
People get mad. People get mad because he doesn't knock people out.
That's what I'm saying. They like the average person is just like he doesn't beat the shit out of anyone. That's not. I mean, he beats them up. He beat Pacquiao with his left hand. I think I saw him use his right for real like twice. I mean, it's amazing.
He knows how to win the fight. That's all. That's what it's about. It's about winning the fight, not about knocking a guy out. I mean, if a knockout comes, great. If you hit the guy a good shot and he goes down, great. But that's not the way. He doesn't think of the fight that way. He goes in there to go 12 rounds. If it's 12 rounds, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm looking through his fight history right here.
Yeah,
all 50 fights, and there's a lot of TKOs in there, but there's maybe 4 or 5 knockouts. That's it. I mean, that's how he fights. And like you think about it, that means after the beginning of his career, he's routinely going 8, 10, and then in a championship fight, 12 rounds. And just, the amount of energy that takes to do that. And he never even looks that gassed. There's been a couple fights, but I never see anything like it. I do agree with your assertion, though, obviously, that no Ali, no Mayweather, no boxing.
Yeah, there's no boxing.
But it's like he's in the conversation for it. I still look at it and I'm like, I wasn't alive to watch Ali. I was young when Tyson was fighting, but I did see Tyson. I can see tape of Ali, seen tape of some others, and it's like, to me, those two they're the guys. They're the best. And it's also, I'll admit, a part of it is, I understand that you do it by weight class, and so technically you are with your equal. But scientifically speaking, the idea of 2 Louisa-sized people throwing all their might behind punches at each other, doesn't matter how big you are. A head is a head. A chin is a chin. You're taking a punch from Floyd Mayweather, or you're taking a punch from Muhammad Ali. That's like the United States of America versus some country in small country in South America. There is no comparison.
Grenada.
Yeah. It's just, and that's no disrespect. It's science.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how I look at Tyson's hooks, because I used to watch that all the time. Carlos would have me watch that all the time because they were so tight. They're so perfect. I'm like watching this. I'm watching him come up, the duck and hook. And you just see an exposed face after missing on a punch, and Tyson come up, and it's like, how do you survive that?
It's hard.
Like, I know he knocks him out, but like, no, how did you live?
Yeah. Well, you got to be in shape. If you're not in shape, you probably won't live.
But still, an exposed head is an exposed head. You're getting hit right here by a Mike Tyson hook at full force.
What happens when they wear 4-ounce gloves?
Even more. Like
MMA, 4-ounce gloves.
I will admit, though, no one has a strike like that. But still, like, there's guys who can strike like a motherfucker in there, especially the big boys. You look at Ngannou.
Yeah, he hit hard. He hits a guy and goes down, and he's laying there helpless, and he's getting hit again until the referee stops it.
That's the scary stuff.
That's scary, yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. And they really... That's the risk in your life shit. That's
what happens. You got you take your life in your hands. When they hit that bell, you better be ready. Better be ready. If you're not, shame on you. Mm. You won't be able to tie your shoes in a few days.
What did you think of Tyson?
I thought he was a later day Frazier at first, but then he was so fast. He came in uppercuts. He really didn't have that much competition in the beginning. But don't forget, it's only his beginning of his career. So, but
pull
then
that mic in just a little bit.
Then he fought everybody.
You can pull it too, by the way.
That's all right.
You can bring it to you.
He fought everybody, so you can't take it away from him. He fought everybody that was there.
He just was, because he wasn't that tall. He was like 5'10", 5'11".
5'11",
something like that. It's not like he was 6'3", going up, because Holyfield was what, like 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah.
These guys, you're 6'5", bigger guys, and he's built like a human blowtorch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not normal.
Well, I think for a little while there he was on the for a little while there.
Well, have you ever seen this guy at like age 12?
Oh,
you ever seen a picture of Mike Tyson?
No, at age 12?
Yeah. I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to put it in the corner for people. I think it's age 13. You're going to take a look at this picture. This is a 13-year-old man, as I like to call it. That is Mike Tyson at age 13. That's not normal, doesn't even begin to describe it. Like there is definitely he obviously worked his balls off from a young age. What was his trainer's name again?
Right there.
Yeah. What was his name?
Gus Amato.
That's it. Amato finds him when he's young, so he's working his balls off, but still. 13, that's some genetics.
Right there. That picture. See
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, it's Gus right there.
No, look at him.
That's him at 17, at least, because that just looks absurd.
That's 13-year-old Tyson. 17-year-old.
Viciously KO'd. Wait, that's him at
KO'd
13 too? That's even worse than the first one.
He KO'd a 17-year-old opponent.
Jesus Christ. All right, it says he's a teenager. That could mean he's 13. But, I mean, just like, some people are just born to do things.
Yeah.
To me, he was just born to do this.
Yeah, he was born to hurt people. He won most of his fights in the locker room. I'm going to eat your kids. I'm going to fuck your wife. I mean, in the ass. I'm going to fuck you in the ass.
I'm going to eat your ear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only here to fight. What the fuck you doing? What are you, crazy?
You got to be built a little differently. I mean, like, how would you psych yourself up for a fight, or did you have to? Or was it just like innate in you?
They would try to psych me up. They said the guy's going to, saw your wife. He's going to try and fuck her, I say, he didn't say that. I know he didn't say that.
Who's telling you that? Your manager?
Dwayne, my trainer, trying to get me psyched up, go out there. But as soon as the bell rang, I used to run across the ring and just start swinging. I was just an animal. I just started doing it, And that's why the Miami Beach Convention Center would fill up with my fans, because I was in the paper the next day. Was the whole headline of the paper was me. Issa KO's another opponent in first round. So I was one day, I think it was like my 7th or 8th fight. I'm in the back getting ready, and the whole stadium's going, Lou, Lou. They're stamping their feet going, Lou, 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 Lou. And I'm going, who the hell are those people? What the hell are they doing? I'm from Jersey. I don't know any of these people. So Dwayne was laughing. He goes, they're your fans. They want to come. They're coming to see you. I go, I don't even know them. Why are they doing that? I had to go pee. I almost threw up, nervous. When I came out, they rushed me. Kill him, knock him out, Lou. Kill him, all the old guys from Miami Beach with their cigars. Knock him out, Lou.
They had money on it.
Yeah. Go knock him out, Lou. You could do it. Go get him. And every time I got in the ring, I look across the ring, and there's my opponent, bigger than me. I'm supposed to be big. I'm always looking up at them. Where are you getting these guys?
No way.
Yeah, the second opponent on my thing, his name was Clarence Morris. They called him King Kong Morris.
King Kong Morris.
There he is.
All right, let's look him up. Clarence Morris, boxer. Okay. I'm gonna stick this in the corner, a picture of him. So that's him as a contender.
No, he was bigger than that. He was huge. When I saw him at the fight, I had to look up at him.
I'm not seeing much here, but I'll stick that.
Well, I looked up at him like this when we at the weigh-in. I got there after him, so I didn't have to go, see him at the weigh-in. But when we got in the ring,
wait, they didn't make you see him at the weigh-in?
No, I didn't see him. I was there. I got late. I was there later. So at the weigh-in, he leaves. So I weigh in. He goes back to the hotel that they got him. At the fight, we go to touch gloves. His one hand was like that big. And I looked up, I go back to the corner, had 2 big holes in his face for a nose. Huge muscle, shoulders and everything. I looked at Dwayne, I go, you guys trying to get me knocked off? What's going on here? They go, just go out there and knock him out. I go, you bet your ass I'm going to go out there. The bell rings. I go running across. He throws that left hook, whoom, but it was so slow. I ducked under it. I came up with mine. I jumped into it. I threw that left hook, hit him on the chin. I felt his whole face go boom like this, and he went. I stepped back.
You knocked him out in the first punch?
Yeah, and he went like this. Boom, like that, and the whole ring went. I went, oh, God, please don't let him get up, please. I went back to the corner. Remember, he's 6, 7, and he didn't move. So they said, fight, and it's over.
Holy shit. Were you ever worried you killed somebody?
No. I mean, the one guy that I fought, I hit him with body shots. His name was Leroy Diggs. He's
I'll pull it up. What fight was that?
Probably my fifth. Well, there, Leroy Diggs.
I'll get the boxer on the end of it. Is that him?
That's him.
Here he is now.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Philly guy.
I guess. But he was doing really good. First round, he had a slapping jab like Ali. And he was at the gym for a few days before our fight. So he had that slapping jab. I saw the jab when I was sparring with other guys.
Oh, he was at Fifth Street Gym?
Yeah, they brought him into to train a few days before the fight because I guess he was from Philly.
So two guys who were about to fight each other.
Yeah, at the gym, same gym. So
that's nuts.
So he hits me with that slapping jab, and I can't get out of the way of it. I don't know why. I just can't get away. So the end of the third round, the referee comes, my eyes closed. He says, Lou, you got one more round. You can't see. I'm going to stop the fight. I said, I know what to do.
Were they cutting it open?
No, they don't do that.
They don't do that?
It's only rock. It's only
okay.
So
I don't know. I got to check.
No, they don't do that. So I at the end of the third round, before the bell rang, I hit him with a body shot, and he spit his mouthpiece all the way across the ring. So I knew, hit him to the body, and it's over. So the next round, I go out there, and he's a little hesitant because I hit him to the body. I jab him to the ropes, and then I throw that left to the body, and I hit him with that left. And he went, oh, and he sat down on the rope, and I jumped to the right, hit him with the right to the body. Jumped to the left, hit him with the left to the body. Jumped to the right, I hit him with 3 or 4 punches to the body, and the referee pulled me off. And he started counting them, 1, 2, and he couldn't get off the rope. He couldn't get up because of the body shots. He couldn't get up. And he sent me a letter 3 months later. He goes, I'm still pissed and pink.
Jesus Christ.
He goes, what the hell did you hit me with? He wanted to look in the gloves. He came after the fight, and he said, I want to see his hands after they took the gloves off. And he thought maybe I had something in there. He checked it.
You were hitting him that hard.
Yeah. And then another kid I fought in Orlando. I fought a kid in Orlando. He comes in the locker room. He goes,
you're good. I'm just pulling it back to you.
How's that? Is that okay?
Yep.
He comes in the locker room and he goes, I got goddamn lumps on my head. He goes, what the hell's in your... I said, I have nothing, just my hands. So he goes, shit, you put lumps on my head. I feel like I got antlers. Yeah, so what happened was he hit me a good shot to the mouth. And when he did, I got mad, and I jabbed him into the ropes, and I hit him with a body shot. When he bent over, I just kept swinging at him, and I was hitting him in the top of the head, and he just fell forward and fell out. I knocked him out, but yeah, he came in the locker room. He goes, hey, I just want to let you know I got lumps on my head. I go, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to, He goes, it's all right. I just wanted to let you know.
How much of it, because we see it all the time with guys who legitimately hate each other. It's not just a ploy, there's some guys. Did you have anyone like that?
No. Plant. You're talking about Plant and Canelo.
Yeah, and there's a lot like that. You know what I mean? Like these different fighters who just fucking hate each other. And I'm trying to picture you with it, and I can't because the way you talk about this, it was kind of like your whole approach was, all right, I guess I'll go in there and knock him out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're done. Let's go out.
Yeah, that's the way it
so
was.
Relaxed.
That's the way it was with me. I just didn't, it was fun. I really had a good time. I had a lot of fun doing it. And the rewards were so good. I mean, be able to walk around Miami and people know who you are and things like that. It means that you're being recognized for what you do. Mm. And that's important to people, That's important to me, too. When I was doing it, it's important that people know who I am, Aren't you Luisa? Yeah. I saw you fight. You're like crazy. I go, thanks. And then they buy you dinner or they buy you a drink. I'm not drinking. I'm fighting, remember?
And you were... I guess at your peak, you were what, 5th or 6th ranked or something like that?
10th.
10th. Pretty high. I mean, that was the golden era of heavyweight boxing. I
enjoyed it. I mean, I tell you, I had the best time of my life. Met the nicest people in the world in boxing.
Who was the coolest?
Ali was the coolest. I met a lot of good guys. Bruce Trampler, who's still in boxing today. You could call Bruce Trampler and ask Bruce Trampler anything about boxing, about any fighter. He'll tell you how many fights he's had, who he fought, how many rounds, what did he win or lose. He knows everything about every fighter. Just like Henry Haskell. Henry Hascup from New Jersey, Mr. Boxing. Bruce Trampler and Henry Hascup, Mr. Boxing. Both of them.
I think you know a lot too. I got to tell you.
I mean, I know a lot, not that as much, nowhere near these guys. These guys are encyclopedias. I'm telling you, if I need to know if Zach's fighting and I need to know about his opponent, I call them.
Oh, so they know. Wow. They know.
I call what's going on with this guy.
They know all the new era stuff too.
And new and old. They know everything, especially Henry. Henry has a computer. I mean, forget about what he's telling you. He's nothing like Henry Hascup. He knows everything. But so does Bruce. Bruce Trampler is the same way. He's a matchmaker for Top Rank, Bruce Trampler. So he has to know fighters, so he makes good fights.
What goes into that besides just looking at records and where a guy's from, if there's any marketing? Styles.
You got to pick the guy's styles. Styles make fights. Two good styles together. Wow, that's a good fight.
So,
got a puncher and a boxer. That's what you want.
What about Hearns Hagler, though? That was just two brawlers.
Hearns Hagler was not two brawlers as much as they were
when they fought.
They were boxers, though.
But when they fought,
yeah, they went nuts. They went They just they didn't have too much liking for each other either.
No.
Yeah, they. I mean, Hearns and Leonard, they might not have liked each other in the ring, but they liked each other out of the ring. They talked a lot.
That's almost weird to me. Because it's such a different personal sport. I mean, you even see it in other sports where guys who, it's their livelihood and somebody costs somebody a win or a championship, they don't like each other, but you'll see a lot of guys still be friends. But in boxing, you are beating the fuck out of each other. You are getting in there to destroy another person. The idea that, you could be friends with them it's a planned fight. I can't imagine being friends with somebody and being like, hey, this Saturday, we're going to fight 12 rounds and I'm going to try to beat the fuck out of you. I couldn't, you know what I mean? There has to be something there where it's this guy fucked my wife or something. There needs to be something like that.
I don't know. That never was like that with me. These guys, a lot of people have different thoughts. Hey, listen, you have to be a little touched in the head to get in the ring anyway. It's only you and another guy, and they're punching each other, trying to hurt each other bad. So there's got to be a little bit wrong with you to want to do that.
Sure.
So from the jump for that's one thing, but
Ali and Frazier hated each other, though, right?
Yeah, they hated to love each other because look at the money they made together. No matter what, I mean, Frazier, Ali, everybody was there. They were in the theaters watching it on the big screen. They were at the fight. They were everywhere watching it. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to go watch that fight. That was the number one fight.
Did you know Frazier, too? Pretty well?
I went to his opening of his movie, his grand opening. He remembered me. He called me White Boy all the time. Hey, White Boy, come here. But he was old then. And,
did he train down at Fifth Street?
No, he trained at in Philly.
I know, but did he come down there and train?
I don't know if he might have went in for a day or two.
Got it.
For promotional things for the fights.
Did you ever spar with him?
Yeah. Sparred with Frazier, Ali, Foreman, Norton, Ernie Shavers, Lyle, Dwayne Bobbick, Rodney Bobbick. Everybody that came to Miami, I sparred with them.
Everyone important from that era.
That came into Miami, I sparred with them, yeah.
Now, I think it all blends together sometimes with me. I can't remember who told me what or whatever, but I've said this before, so I want to set the record straight if I have it right or if someone else was making this up or if it was you that told me. I don't remember. But maybe it was you that told me you had a particular skill at being able to mimic other fight styles.
Right.
So when you would spar with these guys, whether it be Ali or you did tell me before you sparred with Frazier, or some of the other ones, Bobbick, some of those guys, Foreman, they would ask you to mimic who they were going to fight next.
Yeah, they would ask me to do certain things that would mimic the opponent they were fighting. Because I was very big, but I was also light on my feet. I was able to move around. Then I could stand flat-footed and box because I was heavy, and I could punch. I had a good punch, so I was able to do that type of boxing, or I would be able to move around. Like when Ali fought Jimmy Young, when we were getting my first loss, I trained with him, and then I ended up losing the fight because of the abscess. But I was training him for.
Wait, did he give you the abscess?
No, How do you give me an abscess? It was an infected tooth.
I know, but doesn't that happen like when you get the tooth loosened?
No.
And then something gets in there?
No. It just happened. I had a cavity and it turned into a.
Okay, so it was
infection.
natural.
Yeah, it was an infection.
That would have been wild if Ali gave that to you, though. It would have been kind of funny.
No, it was messed up. That's a hard thing that, I didn't want to lose the fight because of my mother. When they stopped the fight with 6 seconds left, oh my God. First thing I did, call my mother. I told her I lost, Ma. She goes, I saw it. And what's wrong with that referee? 6 seconds? You beat the guy to death for 3 rounds and he stops the fight with 6 seconds left? I go, Mom, but I was punching where the guy wasn't. She goes, I saw you, but it was all right. I mean, the guy didn't hit you. I said, oh, whatever.
Today, you would have gone very viral for that. The whole internet would have seen that one.
Oh, God.
That would have been, we got to find the video of that. That would be a meme, maybe even today in the 144p.
Well, I asked for videos of some of my fights on Wide World of Sports, but they said they're in the archives. And the guy told me, he goes, Lou, it'll take me 2 years to find it.
Oh, we got to get
You got to be kidding.
There's got to be a better system. There's no way those people don't have a better system.
I'm telling you, I called there and everything. I asked.
We're gonna work on that.
I did a thing for. I did a video for National Geographic, Underworld Inc. It's called, where they filmed me. I was a bookmaker. And
you were a bookmaker too.
Yeah.
When did you start that? I knew you were a bookie, but like
I was
back
a bookie
then?
when you came into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
When did you start though?
I did when I was 17. I started with tickets, football tickets. You know, football tickets.
What do you mean football tickets?
You get a ticket and you pick 3 teams.
Like a parlay.
You pick 3 teams. If you win all 3 teams, you get 10 for 10 times whatever you bet. So if you bet $1, you get $10 back. But you got to win 3 teams. You know how hard that is?
It's hard.
So I used to give it to all my kids in school. I would get one from my father's friend. I would fill it. First, I would take it to school, and I would make copies of it, 600, 700 copies. Then I'd give the guy back the thing, give him $1. Then I would give them out to all my friends, but I would keep those. I was making like $1,200 a week. My father was going, where are you getting all this money?
Did you keep that like throughout college too?
Yeah.
You keep that when you were a pro boxer?
When I went to college, I opened up my own office. I had an office.
I
was taking action.
When did you have time to train? I'm listening to all of this.
But I didn't. I opened up an office. I didn't answer the phones. I had guys answering the phone.
Oh my God! So you were still maintaining a book while you were a pro boxer?
Oh yeah, it was good.
I'm sure it was.
I made so much money in football, but then the Cubans, those son of a bitch Cubans, they beat the hell out of me in baseball. I quit. They made me quit. I mean, I won $80,000 in this football season. So I said, this is great. I want to do great. I opened up for baseball. And the Cubans, every game, though, they knew. They knew every game. And they hit me. They beat the hell out of me. I quit. I said, I'm done. In New York, my partner in New York, he said to me, Lou, don't quit. They're killing me. I can't win a baseball game. I go, it's crazy. He says, what are you going to do? I said, I quit. That's it. I'm done. I quit. So then when I came back to Jersey, I started again when I knew you. I had started again.
When did you come back to Jersey full time?
2002.
Okay. Well, I still didn't meet you till like 2015, but okay. So you were doing it up here. I mean, look, I always tell people in North Jersey, you want a bookie? Lick your finger, hold it up to the wind.
You'll get
Gonna
one.
be someone walking right down the street. Very, very easy, but different world now than it was for sure.
It's coming back though.
You think so?
Well, it's coming back, but it's also
betting.
It's also hard because it's legal now.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about legal betting. You go to the track. Let's say you go to Meadowlands. You want to bet on a football game. You bet. You get a ticket. Now, if you win, they want the taxes right then and there. And you have to have the money to bet. If you bet with me on the phone, you call me all week and bet. And then when Sunday rolls around, the following Monday, you have to pay up. You pay.
Now, what happens when they don't pay?
You know, you read it in the newspaper, you've seen it on TV. You know what this is.
See, you don't even need a bet though. You go as yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done it a million times. I tell people like when I did the thing for Underworld Inc. You could look for it.
Now, how did that come together, and what was that?
A friend of mine, they asked him they want to know about bookmaking. So he called me, Louie, they want to know about bookmaking, old and new. Would you want to do it? I go, how much? They go, they'll pay you $7,500. Dad, tell him to come now.
Come on in.
So they did it at the gym at Whitfinning.
Come on.
Yeah, you could get it.
I got it.
You got to go to National Geographic, Underworld Inc.
I definitely.
It might be on YouTube.
Underworld Inc. Lou Eset. We're not going to be able to play it on here because it's
I know.
YouTube. I just want to see like if yours specifically exists on YouTube.
Now you got to put in, when you put Underworld Inc., you got to put illegal gambling.
All right.
Illegal
Underworld
gambling.
Inc. Illegal
gambling.
And you're giving this interview and
55 minutes is all me.
Still operating a book.
Yeah.
That's what you call fearlessness right there. All right, so I can get this later.
That's me right there, Big Lou.
Did you just go by Big Lou?
Yeah, they didn't know my last name.
They didn't even give you your last name.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm at the gym and everything. You know who I am.
That's
I'm hitting the bags.
Of course you know who you are. They're not giving you the darkened screen.
No,
with like the deep
everybody else
voice.
did that. I'm the only one that did. My son called me and goes, everybody's calling me, telling me you're on TV talking about bookmaking. He goes, you're going to get arrested. I go, why would I get arrested? One of my friends who works with the state police, he called me and goes, you should get an Oscar for that.
Oh, my God.
I go, I should. They should give me.
That's
They were going to come back and do
incredible.
more. They wanted to do more. They wanted to do every day in a bookmaker. Like they wanted to do like a weekly thing, like a, what do you call it, a reality show.
Oh, my God.
So I met a guy at a diner, gave me 10 grand. One of my friends, I told him, bring 10,000 and give me 10,000. So I counted it. I said, okay. I said, Mr. Governor Christie, I said, when you legalize gambling, I'll work for you. In the meantime, I got this.
Oh, my God.
It's in that show. You'll
I have
see
to
it.
watch that.
You'll see it.
That's incredible. But so you still had that during your career. The focus was more on picking up the blow, though, because there was a lot of money in that.
Oh, God. Yes.
So then, how did you decide your career was over? Did they kind of tell you, like, all right,
No, I did.
You said it.
Yeah, I said I'm done. So, when you're talking about pick up the blow, I didn't only pick up the blow. I was bringing it to New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania,
Shit.
Chicago.
When did that start?
At the same time
When you left boxing.
the end of the career, towards the end of the career. I was going places, making so much money. You come to New Jersey for the weekend. I would leave Miami on Saturday morning, come to New Jersey with 20 keys. And then I go back and I would make like over 150,000. And I'd be back in Miami on Sunday morning. One day, everybody be at my mother's house. All the cars would be parked on my street. They would come in and pick up what they paid, what they wanted. My mother would sew the stuff back in my coat, the money inside my coat, and I would go home. I gave her 10,000 for doing that. And then I'd go home.
Holy shit.
I was making crazy money, though. Never caught me once at the airport.
Where were you flying out of? JFK? Newark?
No, Miami. Oh, going out of Newark.
Yeah.
On the way home, I go out of Newark.
Different times.
Yeah, today.
How long were you doing
Today
that?
you got to go through a metal detector. You go like that, they still have money in your coat. Yeah.
Back then, you're handing a baggie to the fucking TSA agent.
Not
You
even.
want some?
No, you don't even have to do nothing. Just go. There was
No, I'm saying you're giving them some.
There was no TSA
Yeah.
back then. When I came in, I used to come in on the red eyes. When I come from Miami, I come in on the red eye because at night there'd be nobody to check the bags. So, and then after a while, I learned how to do it without even going. I call my father. I tell my father, you know the bag I have, right? He said, yeah. Well, it'll be there at 1160 at Kennedy. I give him
just
the
send the
number.
bag.
He would meet the baggage. The bag would come out. He had a guy there with him, pick up the bag. They'd walk right out. Nobody was there to check the bags. So they'd walk right out. And then he'd sell it and then send me the money.
So you'd go check into the airport, check your bag, walk out the door and leave.
And go home. Call my father. It's on the 1150. It's coming in.
Oh, my God.
That was those were the good days. That lasted for about 5 years. And then somebody told people what people were doing. And then the baggage guys would take these long knitting needles and stick it in the side of the bag.
See if
Then smell the bag. Then smell the needle. Oh, that one stays over there. Put that one over there. And they would stick
Oh, my
it.
God.
I lost 2 bags that way.
But they could arrest you for that because it's your bag. You checked it. Oh,
They
you checked it
stole
under
it.
a different name.
They stole the bag.
Oh, they took it for themselves.
Yeah, they take it. The baggage handlers were sticking it with needles and smelling it. They stole it.
That didn't go how the government planned.
I wasn't worried about the cops. I was worried about them stealing it.
Oh my God! How do you set up something like that, though? So you were obviously doing work for them while you were a boxer, like going out and picking the shit up, and then you're done, and you're like, all right, I want to be a distributor now.
Well, I would just say I want to get some keys. Okay, how many you want? And you're talking about back then, keys were $16,000. Up in New Jersey, they were 52. So I come up here with 20 and flip them, and be back in Miami the next day. But I would sell them for 40.
So you'd have like a few go-tos who would buy them every time.
I had so many guys I couldn't take. I had to stop because too many people knew what I was doing. Too many people talking. Mm. And then you can't get in trouble. And you used to get the stuff out of the High Times.
And that was
Coke was they called Peruvian flake. One big sheet of like mother of pearl.
Mother of pearl.
Yeah, you hold it up. It looks like mother of pearl. That's what it looks like. It was all solid like mother of pearl. And then you break it up and you cut it up, and they would snort it. And they couldn't get enough of that. And then crack came around. 1 kilo brings back $1 million cash.
Holy shit!
From crack, yeah.
That's just nuts.
Yeah, well, I didn't get involved with crack. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's like kind of sad how they did that because they made coke like the rich guy's drug, and then they basically like
killed it.
Yeah, and they put it down and then sold it cheap and sold it to all.
Believe it or not, Coke's making a big comeback.
Oh my God, big comeback! Holy shit, man!
Everybody wants it now.
The most shocking thing, like when I tell you I went to college and I was not shocked by anything, I really wasn't, except one thing. I couldn't believe how many people did coke.
Oh.
Fucking everyone. Now, I never touched the stuff. But this, I'll never forget senior week. And I'm not going to say who it was because I'll give it away. But there were, quote unquote, respected people putting lines on their index finger. There's no way this even like worked out. Like there's scientifically, like this definitely didn't even work out for them. But they're so fucked up. They're putting lines on their index finger, walking out into the ocean, like, they're like chill and snorting it out in the ocean like that. I'm looking around and, we're college kids. There's some kids who got mommy and daddy's money and shit. I got a broke bank account. I'm like, where the fuck are people getting $100, $120 to buy this shit every day?
Every day.
It's crazy. It is.
Believe me, they find it. When they get that cocaine hook, when they get hooked, they find it. They find that money. People sell their businesses, their homes. They lose their businesses, their homes, their wives, their kids, everything because they got hooked on coke. Crack was crazy, but coke, which was crack. But I realized how crack was so addictive because coke was so addictive. People just couldn't stop. I never tried it. I only sold it. And for me, if you give me that much, I'm selling it. You give me this much, I'm selling it. I didn't care. I just get rid of it. It was all cash to me. I'm about the cash. That's what I was about.
Did you ever feel bad about that a little bit though? Like because you're in something to make money. You're making money while you're doing your career and all that. So it's like you're kind of doing it on the side. It's a fast life. It's Miami. It's fun. But then, you're distributing all this stuff and, it goes to people. People get addicted. It can ruin lives and stuff. And I think a lot of times when you talk with people after the fact, and I don't want to speak for you, I want you to answer it, but, they think about it after they're out of it and they're done, like, God damn, that was fucked up. But it's like in the moment, a lot of people don't seem to think about that a lot. And they're just like, all right, well, I'm here, we're doing it, let's go.
Well, you got to remember, it's all according to what level you're on. If you're in the street and you're dealing to people one-on-one, then you feel the impact of what you're doing. But I was a high level. I was 150 keys a week. I would just see somebody who took 10 keys, somebody who took 5. Friends that took 5 or 10 that I just leave. They leave. You don't see them again until the following week when they took another 5 or 10. But it's not. I never got into the low level street stuff.
It's less personal.
Yes, less personal. Yeah.
I always kind of wonder that, especially like with the guys back in Colombia and Mexico today is a little different, but you know, there's a lot of violence that comes with it and things like that, and they see that part amongst themselves. But I wonder how much of that those guys, you know, the Pablo Escobars of the world and stuff, really, really saw of like people who got fucked up.
Well, Pablo Escobar's seen it. Don't forget, they did a documentary on him. He had a lot of people working for him, low-level people that were hooked. But he couldn't. You couldn't be hooked if you worked for him, though. He got you clean. Then you had to work because you had to work. Sometimes people work like they have to work naked. So they don't want you. You know, you have the gloves on so that the coke don't go into your hands because you can get high just getting it in your pores.
And also, you might steal it too. They didn't like that.
They don't want you. They don't want you to steal nothing.
Who's the guy? Frank Lucas.
Lucas.
American
made the
gangster.
girls work naked. And then, look, they made a lot of money, but you can't. You don't want you stealing nothing.
I always wonder about like the people, like these different stash houses and stuff. There were thousands of them. Thousands of them. Like I have to know people in my life who I don't know about who were like the people working them. I mean, like the physical labor. Like, how do you even get that job?
We used to look for them, bro. I used to work with a friend of mine who was a DEA agent. He used to give me the badges, and we used to go in and steal, drug houses, steal from the drug houses.
Oh my God!
I mean, they're not going to call the cops. We are the cops. Ding dong, got a search warrant for the premises. Guy would, on the floor, let's go. Guy give us guns, everything. Everybody on the floor. And we handcuff everybody, look around, find everything, take it.
Oh my God, you handcuff everyone and leave?
Yeah, they can open your mouth. Put the handcuff key in his mouth. Don't swallow that. I'll see you around.
Oh my God.
Oh, we made so big scores doing that.
Did he go down too?
No. We didn't go down for that. I never went down for that.
Did he ever go down?
No, he would never go in. No, he never went down.
No.
Talking about the cop?
Yeah.
No, he never went
He never
down.
got in trouble for that?
No.
I wonder how many cops get away with it.
So many. Too many. You're talking about, look, I know cops in Miami that made Dade County Metro. They quit and bought lobster boats, and they were out doing lobster fishing because they went out one morning in their lobster boat. They had a little one. They went out to lay a couple of traps, and they found 70, 80 bales in the water. So they put it in their boat, brought it back, called me. Luke, can you sell this for us? Yeah, no problem. Sell it for them, and then they ended up quitting the police force, bought 2 lobster boats, and we're out doing lobster stuff. You know how many more bales they must have found?
Look, cops even down there, but even at the federal level, you're a DEA agent, you're an FBI agent. Jim DiOrio, when he was in here, said the number. It's like, whatever it is. It's not, it's money. You're not poor, but like, you only make so much, and you do it, and it's like anything else. I think people the slippery slope, they can be bought off to be like, all right, I'll let that slide. I'll make a few extra bucks for my weekend, whatever. And then suddenly they're doing more, and then they're doing more, and then they're doing more, and then, the line's blurred.
First time he takes it, he's done. He's hooked.
That's it, yeah.
He's hooked. He can't get out of it after the first one, because you're wrong right there. You're wrong for taking it the first time. So to keep their mouths shut, and you're just going to keep doing it. And that's what happens. I mean, you got kids. You're a cop. You're out there working your ass off. You got a kid. He's sick. You can't afford to help him. And something comes along where you can make $500,000. Just look the other way. What are you going to do?
That's what I mean. It's like...
It's too tempting. It's too hard. I mean, it's really hard to find really good police officers. And today, it's tough. It's tough. Because they're getting abused so bad, especially today.
I think it'd be harder back then.
It's harder now.
Why do you, with the internet and everything and transparency, but at least more ability to track what people are doing and stuff.
But it's so
back
hard.
then it was like...
It's so hard to get a cop that won't look the other way. Because look how they're being abused today. They're being abused. They're getting indicted. They have cameras on all the time doing, not the undercover and stuff like that, but believe me, I think it's easier today. You could buy any cop you want today.
Really?
Because they don't even like their job.
No.
They don't like their jobs anymore. They don't want to work that. Why? Because you're not being backed up by the city or by the state or by the government, whatever, feds. You're not being backed up.
I've told this story before, so apologies to people who have heard it on the podcast, but I got to tell you this one because it says everything that you're saying right now. I will never forget sitting in the car this is like 5 a.m. in the morning. I was driving to a job up just outside New York City. So when I was in college, I dated a girl who lived right above New York City in Pelham. And so I got a job up there, caddying. So I'm up at the crack of dawn, get a loop in, do the thing, make my money. And I'm on 95 listening to WFAN, the sports station up there. And an ad comes on. I mean a full-blown 60-second buy at a 5 a.m. ad spot on a Saturday morning. And it's some lady with the music in the background, the hokey music going, join the NYPD. And it starts listing off like, you'll get full pension benefits, like, health insurance, all this. Nothing about the job, nothing about the fact that it's like, you're becoming a fucking cop. Like, you're law enforcement, you're going to carry a gun. And it's not like they say, oh, you get to carry a gun. But I'm sitting there listening to this, and they're selling it like a product. And I'm like, who the fuck is listening to this at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning? Somebody working some shitty construction job, or somebody who like doesn't, like in most cases, somebody like me, like hustling to some bullshit job. And you're like, oh, I get a pension out of this? Like, think about the people you could be getting from that. And I'm not like trying to rip people here, but the average schmo, then they get into it, they get a taste, and they're like, well, there's a cap to it. Then someone comes up to them and says, yeah, you make an extra 10 grand if you just do this. All right, no problem. And like you said, they're hooked. That's how it happens.
That's how it happens. It's easy. Look, it's scary. That's what it is, because you don't know who. Like I said, you don't know who to trust today.
No,
you don't know who to trust. Even even if you want to be a drug dealer today, you can't be a drug dealer today. Too many people give you up. They give you up. If you were doing business with somebody, 3 people, 2 of them are going to give you up before you could say something. They're going to give you up on the way to the police station. They get 97% conviction rate. Why? Because they hit you, like, let's say you and I get arrested. They're going to say, listen, Julian, you're going to get 25 years. Your education's down the toilet. Everything after 25 years, when you come out, you're going to be obsolete. You know, if you get a job, who knows, sleeping floors somewhere. Mm-hmm. And you're going to say, I don't want that. Well, that's what you're looking at, 25 years. Well, how do I get out? Well, you got to work, you got to testify against him. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, we'll see you later, because he's going to testify against you. What?
They're going to get one or the other.
It's whoever we talk to first. You happen to be the lucky guy. We're here first. Make a decision.
Yeah. And now in the era of wiretaps and everything, I mean, that just, once technology entered the building, slowly in the 70s. They take your license plate from outer space, from a satellite. They take the license plate of your car and follow you from outer space. Now, you said you were working with the Cubans mostly, right?
Yeah.
So, and when I was asking that question, we were only talking about the going back and forth in the boat. So now in the distribution, you were getting it from some of those main guys who would give it to you, and you could do what you please with it.
Right. I could sell it. Yeah.
And did you paid them up front?
No. They're front. Now you have to. Now today you can't get nothing fronted. You have to pay up front. But back then they would front you 10. First I started out with 20 keys. Then I went up to move up to 50. Then I went to 100. Then I went to 150. After that I stayed at 150 because that was more than enough for me to make.
How, like once a month?
Once a week.
Once a week. You're doing this every week.
Every week.
Florida to Jersey.
Yeah.
Putting it into the New York market.
Right.
And this is in the 80s?
70s and 80s.
You could do that? The reason I asked, because, and I might be mixed up here, but didn't like the Cali cartel own New York with coke?
Nobody owned nothing. You got coke, you sell it wherever you got it.
Interesting. Because that was on that show Narcos, and it was actually
TV.
Yeah, but still, like a lot of it was TV
Reels.
and whatever. But there were certain elements of that, like for example, that people, if you go look at the history of it, like people didn't know that Escobar wasn't the only guy down there. There was the Cali cartel who were actually bigger, and they had New York.
Medellin cartel.
Medellin was Escobar. Yeah. Cali was the other one.
Right.
So like Medellin had Miami in the U.S., for example, and then Cali had New York. And they were just fucking supplying everything. But then, yeah, like I know the Cubans were doing a lot in Miami. I didn't know if they were doing stuff in New York. I just don't like me trying to picture like how that's legislated in the underworld. It's like it's crazy to me. So you pretty much could just get it and take it places, and you didn't worry about repercussions.
No, I didn't worry about nothing back then. I didn't care about nobody and nothing. I was making so much money. And I have no vices. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. My only vice was buying things for my wife and kids. That's the same thing I have. That's the same vice I have now. I love my wife. I want her to have everything. That's the way I am.
How many years did this last?
The drug business?
Mm-hmm.
10, 15.
And so you got... The indictments came down. You went to Greece.
Yes. The indictments came down for traveler's checks. And then they said we were using the traveler's checks with the proceeds from the traveler's checks. We were buying coke and bringing that to Greece. And that's how the Greek government got involved. They asked the Greek government to extradite me, to arrest me and extradite me. So they followed me for 1 year, the Greek government. And then they told the United States, you lied to us. You told us he was dealing drugs. He's not dealing drugs here. He works in the night as a extortionist. But over there, it's not called extortion. It's called protection. And everybody does it. If you don't do it, the cops do it.
Oh, my God.
So I had a nightclub, and I had 10 nightclubs paying me $500 a week to protect them. Because if, like in Greece, the kids go out, like a group of guys, like you have friends, you go out and you have drinks in a club, you run a tab. At the end of the night, the guy brings you the tab. You tell him, fuck you, I'm not paying.
You're the guy that comes in and says you're paying.
I go in when the guy has like 10 people there and he knows they're going to fuck with him. He calls me, Lou, I need you to come. I said, I'm on my way. I go up the street. He gives me the check. I go over to the table. Ta lefta, malacas. That means the money, jerk offs. They look at me, they go, ta lefta. And they pay. And then I give it to the owner and he goes, oh, thank you so much. And I leave.
So you paid $500 a week for that at each place?
$500 in case he ever needs me. I go there.
So you were doing that and you were out of the drug business.
Yeah.
But they still arrested you and extradited you.
They extradited me for that same indictment because, like I said, after years went by, everybody, domino theory, people got arrested and they didn't want them. They wanted me. So when I got home, there was a big triangle in the court on a chalkboard. 35 names and mine's in red at the top. I go to the judge. The fuck is that? He goes, Lou, you can't talk like that in my court. I go, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but what is that? He goes, that's your organization.
Oh my God!
I go, come on, you're an intelligent man. You have a college degree. You got a law. You got a law degree. Everything. Come on. I go, you're gonna tell me that 35 guys are working for me in America, taking chances on getting caught and going to jail. They're working for me and sending me the money in Greece so I can live the good life.
Oh, they were indicting you for your time in Greece.
No, they're indicting me for the charge that was here.
Before.
Yeah, but they're saying that, I'm saying all these guys work for me. I lived in Greece. I was there 4 years. So I was saying, you're saying these guys work for me and they were sending me money to Greece? He goes, that's what they're alleging.
Well, no, they were saying before though.
Yeah, but they're saying they're sending
During
me money
too.
Yeah, while people were getting arrested. It took years, you know what I mean? So
they just dragged that in on top.
They dragged that in. So I just said, that's a bull. I said, that's bull, Your Honor. He goes, don't worry, we're going to get to the bottom of this. When he sentenced me, I said, we sure got to the bottom of that, didn't we? He looked down. He was all embarrassed. He knew I was right. He knew I was dead right. And the Spanish government came to my sentencing.
Spanish government?
Yeah, because Spain arrested me when they extradited me. I got arrested in Barcelona. I was in Barcelona.
So the Greeks didn't arrest you?
No, the Greeks wouldn't arrest me. They said he's not doing nothing wrong. You lied to us. You said he was selling drugs here. He's not. So they didn't arrest me. The cop came to my house and told me, don't leave here. They're looking for you. Well, don't forget, that when Europe became the European Union, I thought it was all one. So I went from Greece to Barcelona to meet my friend, my best friend, and he set me up. The feds were waiting for me there.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I got off the plane. I was walking towards the plane, to hand your, I had like 6 or 7 different passports. So I was going to hand one of them in. I grabbed the American one. And I handed the guy.
Did it have your name on it?
Yeah. And the guy was shaking like this. I go, what the fuck? You got cerebral palsy? Sign the damn thing and let's go. And I hear the guy go, Hermanito de King Kong. And that means That means in Spanish, King Kong's little brother. So I turn around and the guy's got a machine gun. So I duck. I thought he was going to shoot that guy. I don't know what he's shooting. Not me. I had nothing to do with nothing. So he goes, Hermanito de King Kong, arriba, get up. So I got up. I go, what's up? He goes, some little guy with a seersucker blue suit walks up to me. He goes, Luis Issa, I'm with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You're going with us. I go, I'm not going nowhere with you. I don't live here. I go, you live in the United States? He goes, yeah. I go, where are you taking me? To the United States. No, you're not. I live in Greece. I'm going back home. He goes, you refuse extradition? Exactly. He goes, okay, take him away. I go, what do you mean take me away? He goes, you're going to jail. They took me right to prison.
In Spain?
In Spain.
And then there was a whole court thing to get you, whether or not.
I had to go a year. I fought extradition. Finally.
Living in jail?
Yeah, but I was the lifeguard at the pool.
What's prison life in Spain like?
Ugh, it's a joke. A joke. I had my own cable TV. I had the only TV in the place with cable. I had to run up to the ceiling with a satellite dish. I was watching TV. I was selling drugs in the jail.
You're selling drugs in the jail?
The guards would go get me 10 grams of heroin. I would give it to the doctor. He would cut it up, put it in bags, and I would sell it because everybody had cash.
Now, how much do you have to pay off the guards? Like 50% cut-in?
Listen, I give him $900 a month. He would make $600 a month as a guard. I gave him $900 for his pocket.
And how much were you making selling it?
I landed there with $30,000 when I went to visit my friend. I had $30,000 in my pocket.
Did they take that from you?
No, they can never take my money. So I had it in my pocket. We had a fight. That's why I take my money.
So you're walking into prison with $30,000 in your pocket.
And they were going to take, because I had the Rolex on and I had a chain and a ring. They were going to take my stuff, and they were talking to each other, but I understood Spanish. And the FBI agent told them, because he spoke Spanish, he told them in Spanish, not this guy, somebody else, do not try to take his money or his jewelry. He said, I'm telling you now, don't do it. I'm giving you fair warning. So they didn't try it. So when I got to the jail, I got a lawyer, and I took off my jewelry, and I told him, mail that to my brother in New York. So when I came home, I got my jewelry. But the money I kept, and I had $30,000 when I landed, and I was selling heroin. I was there for a year and a half, and when I left, I had $180,000.
What year is this?
It's 88 to 89.
So jail was a $120,000 investment for you.
And when I landed in New York, I paid my lawyer at the airport in cash, $60,000.
Wait. So did you get to go to New York on your own volition?
No, they came with 22 marshals to get me.
I was going to say.
They came with 22 marshals on a holiday. They wouldn't have been able to take me if it was a regular day, because in my cell with me was a lawyer from Miami, and he's Cuban, and he was printing out motions, and the government, the United States government kept saying, how the hell is he beating us in court? They didn't know that what I did was I got a computer. I paid the guard to bring me a computer, and this guy, and we had a printer, and we had the Spanish law, all the Spanish law on CD. So he put it in the computer, and he was printing out motions, and we were killing the government.
What was your lawyer? You had a lawyer as a cellmate?
Umberto Aguilar.
What was
He's
he
in
in
Miami
for?
now. He's in Miami.
Of course he is.
He was a lawyer for the cartels, so they arrested him.
Oh my God!
So
how did he get arrested in Spain though?
He took off for Spain, and they got him there.
Oh my God!
So Umberto was killing him, but they came on a holiday when there was no court. So Umberto goes, we can't get the law degree. And I go, forget it. I'm going to get fianza, which means bail. I said, I'm going home. I'm going to get fianza, so I'm going to go. He goes, Lou, don't go. They're going to kill you there. I go, no, they're not. So I get my stuff. I pack everything up, everything in a big bag I had. And it's all climatically sealed. Because I know if you go from prison to prison and you have stuff that's climatically sealed, you could take it with you into the prison. So I had sweatshirts, I had sweatpants, I had brand new sneakers, I had 4 pairs of underwear, 4 T-shirts, everything I could have, 2 toothbrushes, all my toiletries, all my law work, my legal work, all my pictures and stuff of my kids and my letters, everything's in this bag. So they handcuffed me around my waist, handcuffed me here, and got leg irons on. So I'm walking. I go, guys, my name's not Hannibal Lecter. It's Lou Issa. I don't have any violence on my record. Why are you doing this? They go, no, we were told you're dangerous. And, you could be dangerous. I go, whatever. I go, I'm 40,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. Can I take this off so I could eat? No.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
So I said to the guy, "You hungry?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Boom!" I flipped it right on him. All the shit, all the sauce, everything went on. He was like that to hit me. I go, "Yeah, you do that. When they take these off, I'll kill you." And he looked at me. I go, "I'm serious." And he's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, that's why you were in the cuffs. Like, this guy's dangerous.
He's Puerto Rican, this guy.
Yeah.
So the rest of them are all white, and they're all talking about blacks and stuff. They're all prejudiced to the day is long. So he looks at me, and I'm looking at him, and he hears them talking, and I hear them talking. So I go, "What do you think happens when they're done with the blacks? You're next." I go, "You're brown. You're next." So he goes, "That's." I go, "You watch and see. You're next. They're talking about the blacks now. You're next." Yeah, I'll tell you, it was bad. It was bad. But then when I got in front of the judge, what happened with my bag? I told you I had everything in the bag. So I'm pulling the bag. I'm not walking fast enough. I go, "I got shackles and handcuffs on. How do you expect me to walk faster pulling a bag?" I go, "Why don't you pull the bag for me?" He goes, "I'm not your red cap." I go, then we have to take the next plane because I'm not going to walk faster. He goes, "Okay, I'll take it." Now I'm walking a little bit faster. I'm walking. I don't see him. I thought maybe he went ahead and put the bag in the luggage. He threw it in a dumpster.
Your whole bag?
My whole bag. So when I get to the airport.
How's that legal?
It's not. So when I get to the airport, I'll tell you what happened. I get to the airport. I go, "Where's my bag? I want to get my bag." "Don't worry about it. We'll get it for you." I go, "But I got my legal stuff and everything. I need my bag. My lawyer's here." So my lawyer steps up. Give him his bag. The bag was thrown in the garbage in Spain. "You what?" I go, "My kids' pictures are in there." That's all I cared about was my kids. We were writing back and forth, and they would send me their pictures. And letters from my kids. I go, "Letters from my children and pictures are in that bag. Why would you do that?" He goes, "I'm not your red cap." I said, "Okay." I told my lawyer, "When do we get in front of the judge?" He says, "Tomorrow morning." I said, "Good." Got in front of the judge. I said, "You let me talk." He goes, "Your Honor, my client would like to say something." He goes, "You sure you want to talk without your lawyer?" I go, "Yes, Your Honor." He goes, "Okay, what do you want to say?" I said, "This marshal right here threw my bag in the garbage. He said he wasn't my red cap." He goes, "He what?" I go, "You heard me. He threw my stuff in the garbage." The judge says, "Get up. Come over here." "Did you throw his bag in the garbage?" "Yeah." He goes, "What does it say when I send you to get a prisoner? What does it say on the sheet?" "The prisoner and his belongings."
Did he lose his job for that?
No, he didn't lose his job. He had to pay me. Listen.
Yeah, but there's priceless stuff. Not just your memory. Your memories are priceless, but your legal shit isn't.
Yeah, but I could get copies of that. Okay. The judge said, "I'll get you copies of all that."
Okay.
But what happened was, the judge says to me, "Go in the back with your lawyer. I'm going to give you paper and pen. Write down everything that was in that bag and put a price tag on it." So I came back and I go, "Your Honor, there's a couple things that I couldn't put a price tag on, like my children's pictures, like you said.
Yeah.
My children's pictures and my children's letters. My legal work," the judge said, "I'll get your legal work." I said, "Okay." You worked it out with my lawyer. And, other things that I bought there that I know being climatically sealed, I could bring into the prison, like a radio, things like that I could have, He said, "Well, you put I said, "I put $2,500. He goes, "That's not enough."
The judge said that.
Yeah. I go, "Well, $2,500 is about what I spent." He goes, "Yeah, but how did you put a price on your son's and your daughter's papers?" I go, "No." He goes, "Your pictures?" "No." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Let's make it $7,500. I go, "That's up to you, Your Honor." I said $2,500. So he goes, $7,500. He told the guy, "Not the Marshal Service, but you're going to pay for this."
Wow.
Because you took it upon yourself to throw it away. Now, if one of your superiors told you to throw it away, tell me right now.
And he'll pay for it.
Yeah. Why would he say something? He knows he rat on his friends. He's in trouble.
Yeah.
So he just said, "It was me, Your Honor." So the judge said, before he gets back to MCC, make sure that $7,500 is in his account.
So they were holding you at Metropolitan Correction Center?
Yeah.
Near
MCC.
And then did you plead out?
Yeah. I had no choice.
Yeah.
I had 35 co-defendants, and I was the only one there. And they all came to me and said, "Please, Lou, we only got 14 months. Please don't ruin our lives now. We're married, got kids. Lou, don't do that to us."
Yeah.
I go, "I'm not going to do nothing, but you guys all blame me." Everybody, the domino theory, I'm at the end of that domino.
Were they testifying against you?
They would have. So I said, you guys are all going to testify against me because you got deals. 14 months. The most they ever got was 14 months. 18 months was the highest sentence. And I got banged.
How long did you go in for?
15. I went from Otisville, MCC to Otisville, Otisville to Lewisburg, Lewisburg to Coleman, Florida.
How did they decide to move you around in prisons? Like, why did they move you?
You have a fight. I had a fight with a Latin king in the prison. Guy wanted to be a Latin king. So this guy Angel was the head of the Latin Kings. He was going out with my stepsister.
Wait. Angel, who's not in the prison.
Who's in prison.
He's in prison with you.
Going out with my sister. I didn't know.
He's going out with your stepsister.
My stepsister. She lives in Patterson.
How long was he in jail for?
A couple of years.
Okay.
So this kid wants to be a Latin king. He keeps telling Angel, I want to be a Latin king. So Angel sees me walk in the mess hall. I never walk in the mess hall because I had my own food. So I walk in today because a friend of mine goes, Lou, I want to get the chicken. Will you get the chicken for me?
What do you mean you had your own food?
I would buy food at the commissary and cook my own meals.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I would go to get the chicken so he could have the chicken because the guys in the line knew me real good to give me extra chicken. And I would give it to my friend because he was starving. So I gave it to him. I'm standing in line talking to him, waiting to get the chicken, and this kid comes up next to me. And I look at him, and I don't register fear because he's about 160 pounds. And I think he's not going to hit me. I turn back talking to Ari, my friend, and the guy takes a swing and hits me right here. Boom! I went, oh, you son of a... And I grab him. He had a ponytail. I grabbed the ponytail. I locked in. I pulled him back, and I hit him. Bang! The ponytail came out in my hand.
Come on.
It came out. I went, oh, I wiped it off. And he hit the ground, and I stepped over him. I got the chicken. I gave it to Ari. I walked out. I said, Ari, I got to go to the hole. And I went, sat in front of the hole, which is solitary confinement, where they call it Management Control Unit, MCU. So I'm standing outside MCU sitting on a milk cart. They're looking all over the prison for me. They don't see me sitting there. They call back to the unit. Everybody got to go back to the unit, looking for me. So everybody's in the unit. They have a count. I'm not there. I'm sitting on the box outside the hall. Finally, the captain comes down and he looks across and sees me sitting there. He goes, Lou, you been there the whole time? I go, yeah. He goes, don't you hear the place going crazy looking for you? I go, I figured they'd find me sooner or later. That's where I'm going, right? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. So they opened the door and let me in. Next morning, the captain calls me out. He goes, I want you to see this. I go, okay. So I come out. He goes, Lou, listen, we love you here. You protect all the weak guys. Guys are getting extorted, or getting beat up.
The warden's telling you
this?
this?
No, the captain.
Okay.
He says, you take care of guys. You don't let them get hurt and stuff like that. And we like that. I go, a lot of guys are getting beat up for no reason. They're extorting them for little things that they don't have enough, and they maybe they have a bag of coffee, they want it. They extort the guy. They stab him, or they have a bunch of guys go in there and just take it. He goes, I take care of those guys. He goes, we know everything. He goes, I just wanted to show you what happened. He goes, because we like you here, we don't want nothing to happen to you. So look around you. Everything here is steel and concrete. You hit a guy with your left hook. He hits his head on that wall. It's concrete. Or the bars. Then hits the concrete on the ground. He could be dead. Then what are you going to do? I go, I told you when I first came here, I would never hit nobody unless they hit me.
Didn't they have it on tape?
Yeah, they had it. That's what he
so
showed me.
See it.
He showed me the video. I just want to show you something. Look at what you did. And he showed me. I saw the guy hit me. He goes, I'm not saying nothing. Just watch the film. The guy hit me, and then I pulled his hair, and I punched him. He goes, 87% of his hair came out with that punch. You broke his cheekbone and his jaw. He swallowed 7 of his teeth. And he cut his tongue that big. And he's in a coma. I go, he goes, not, I go, I didn't know. I go, he hit me, and I didn't know if there was more guys.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
I just grabbed the first one and hit him, and I was waiting for the next. He says to me, Lou, you didn't do nothing wrong. He goes, but you got to stay here. I go, why am I got to stay in the hole? He goes, right now you got to stay here. We'll work it out. I said, okay. 3 months later, I called him. I said, I need to see the captain. Bring him here. So the captain comes. I go, hey, what's going on? When am I getting out of here? He goes, I'm afraid to let you out. I go, you're afraid for me? He goes, no. I'm not afraid for you. I'm afraid for them. Because if some of them says something, you're going to put another one in a coma. He goes, oh, I'm afraid for them. He goes, I told you we like you. He goes, I'm going to make you the orderly here. I'm going to leave your cell open. You can walk around. You help the other guys do their laundry, help them out, bring the food if they want extra food. There's always extra food here. You could bring guys who are hungry. You could take care of them all. I go, I'll do that. And I made a library. I read over 900 books in a year I was there.
900 books.
All fiction, but I loved them. My brother would send me 5-6 books a week.
What'd you like to read?
I read everything Clancy wrote. Everything Clancy wrote.
That's great.
I read all James Patterson, all the serial killer books.
Yep.
I read. There was a woman I read. I forget, but I read a lot. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books, and they were always good. There was one good book. If you ever want to get a good book, one good book by a guy who became a knight in England. They knighted him. I forget his name right now, but he wrote a book called Honor Among Thieves.
Honor Among Thieves.
You want to get that book.
Okay. Just write it. Well, I'm gonna hear. I'm gonna hear this later, so I don't even need to write it down. But 900 books a year.
Well, in about a year and a half, I read it, and then because I was there 2 years, and he took me. I built a library. He gave me the wood, and I built a library shelves, and I put all the books on the shelves. So when I left the hall, the guys who came in could have books to read.
This is in Otisville?
Yeah, Otisville.
And so after all this, then they move you?
Then they moved me.
Why?
Because the captain said, I'm going to be the assistant warden at Coleman Low facility. Do you want to go with me? I go, where's Coleman?
Oh, low security.
Yeah, I go, where's Coleman? He said, Florida. Let's go. So I went with him. And they gave me a job there as a...
Did you go to Lewisburg in between, though?
Yeah, went to Lewisburg on the way. He went to Coleman on the plane. I went to Lewisburg and then Coleman. But he gave me a job as an aerobic instructor. I just did step aerobics. I devised the whole program, and he bought me. How many steps do you need? He bought them, and he gave me a thing with the microphone, and I had music.
So you were the Russell Simmons of prison.
I was the Russell Simmons. I was making so.
Is that his name? Curly-haired guy?
Yeah. I was doing so good. I was doing so good at the aerobic thing that every time a senator or a congressman came through the prison, he would call me and say, Lou, I need you to do a class. And I would do the class. And I started getting fights because guys were losing weight and looking good from doing the class. But other guys, I had a list. Only so many guys could go on the list. So guys were fighting, cross guys' names, won't put their name on. So they're having fist fights. So the captain called me down. He goes, you got to stop the fist fights or I'm going to cancel the class. That's ridiculous. That's your job to stop the fist fights. Not mine. I'm not a CO. So he goes, you got to stop the fist fights. So that night, I went back to my cell and I thought. I said, I came back and I told him, I know how to stop it. He goes, how? Only guy 6 months to the door could take the class. 6 months to the door, you could take the class to lose the weight you gained while being in prison from eating all the fat foods and just not doing nothing. Now you could work your ass off and get thin and look good to go home. So
do people, I can see people sitting around not doing anything and not taking advantage of, going out and working out.
Yeah.
But, did they feed you a lot in there?
You can eat whatever you want.
No shit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like in Spain. Spain was nice.
Spain, the vegetable truck drove in the yard. You bought your own vegetables. Then the meat truck came in. You bought your own meat. Lamb, chicken, fish, whatever you want. Steaks. You could buy whatever you want.
God damn. So you were there, when did you get out, 02?
Yeah, 02.
You came back to Jersey. And then you got right back into boxing, though, because you were around it.
Well, I got certified as a trainer when I was away.
Yeah.
So I went to work out at a gym when I was living in my apartment in New York. I have an apartment on 68th Street and First Avenue.
Really?
I've had it for 45 years. But my brother lives there now. So I was living there because that's the last known address they had before I left to Spain. So that's where they made me live. And I went to a halfway house in the Bronx. But they said, you got to get a job. So I looked for gyms because I got certified. So I found a gym in Woodhaven, Queens. Took 2 subways and a bus to get there. And I was working at the gym. So I went downstairs one day to go use the bathroom, and I turned the light on, and I saw this big area. I said, oh, my God, I could put some bags in here, and we could do some boxing in here. I put a little ring. So I talked to the owner, Tony. I said, Tony, we get a little boxing in here. It really makes, add some extra money, profits to the gym. He loved that. He said, okay, you do it all? I go, yeah, I'll do everything. I'll give you a list of what I want. So I listed it. They delivered it. We set it all up. And that place hit off like crazy. I was making so much money. I was charging $80 a session. And then it went up to $120. $120 a session in New York.
Damn.
And it was off.
This is 02, 03, 04.
Yeah, 02, 03. And I was killing it. I was making so much money. Then one day I walk into the gym and a big box comes. Has my name on it. I go, what the hell is this? So I open it up and it's all new clothes, all workout clothes, the newest stuff, the Nike. I go, God damn. And there's a little letter in there and I read it. It was from an old girlfriend. She goes, I heard you got out. I heard you're doing good. I just wanted to say happy birthday because my birthday was in 2 days. I just wanted to say happy birthday. And so I called her because they had left the number there. I said, thank you so much. I can't believe you did that for me. It was really nice. She goes, oh, I want to see you. We ended up talking and we got married.
Oh, that was the fourth wife.
That was the fourth one.
Oh, my God.
And
That's hysterical.
And then she started drinking and I couldn't take it no more. She started drinking a bottle of wine to make dinner, a bottle of wine with dinner, and a bottle of wine after dinner. And she got like...
Oh, yeah.
I said, I can't do this. I'm done.
Lou, you tell a story about as good as anyone who's been on here. I'm just looking at the clock now. I think we're like over 3 hours. I could talk with you all day, but I want to bring you back at some point. So there's a lot we didn't get to today that I'd love to cover with you. But this was awesome. Thank you for doing it so much.
Anytime, buddy. As a matter of fact, it's not that bad of a drive.
No, it's not. So I tell you, probably half my people come from New York, half are from Philly. I've had like 5 or 6 from Miami. And, that's been the diaspora. People from New York, they either drive down here or they take it to the train. I pick them up. We're over here. We get in. We're done. And that's it. It's not too bad. But I appreciate you coming down a lot. It's great to see your face. You're a face that I saw like every day, or not every day, but several times a week for years before the pandemic. I haven't seen you. So it's good to catch up, and looking forward to being up there in Ray's place again soon.
Oh, God. When you get to Ray's place, you're going to flip out. It's really, and I hope that I could find space next to Ray and open up next to him, because it's really that amazing. I mean, if Ray stays where he is and I open up, I don't think he'll let Carlos open up, because I don't think Carlos would survive with me there.
Well, you bring the whole history behind you too. People come to train with you.
Yeah, I like people. I get along with a lot of people. I get a client. They stay with me forever. Like Tom. Remember Tom?
Tom Riley, of course. I remember Tom Riley. I'd love to have Tom on. Actually, I don't know if he could do it though, because he's
he works in Connecticut now.
Which company?
Another drug company.
It's not
not Novartis.
Yep, no, not Novartis. He went somewhere. He went to Amgen right after that, right?
Then he's in another place up in Connecticut.
He went to somewhere new.
He has a brand new sports car. He drives up and down. I met him.
Love that. Tom Riley, for my money, is one of the best guys I've ever met.
He bought a beautiful house down the shore. He's doing really good.
I actually can't believe he bought a sports car.
I couldn't believe it either.
He's the most, that guy, when he was, he ran global oncology financial planning for Novartis. I mean, he's not missing any meals. And he was driving a fucking Toyota. And I'm like, I love that. Like, he's driving like a 7-year-old Toyota. Guy's listening to like TED Talks on his way to work. And the best part about him is he comes in there and trains at 6 a.m. with you, and then fucking spars with a guy. We finish our workup at the same time, our workout at the same time. We're talking. He puts on his suit, goes across the street, and gives a speech to 150 people around the globe.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, God, what a savage. So I love the guys like that train with you. And obviously, like, I had John Schneider in here. He loves you. Zach, I mean, Zach came up through you and doing everything he did there. It's amazing to see what he's doing. But I could talk with you all day, man. It's great to see you.
It's great being here. Nice seeing you too.
We'll do this again, and I think everyone's going to enjoy this one because you tell a story unbelievable.
I'm ready. I'll tell you some crazy stuff when I come back.
All right, we'll do it. Lou, love you. Thank you, sir.
Love you more, buddy.
Appreciate it. Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me.